Hello, people. Welcome back to the OCM Botcast. I am your host, Chad Margo. I hope you guys have been doing good. I've been doing quite well myself, for the most part. God. I posted this on Twitter, but I swear I have the worst luck with bicycles. I just bought a bicycle the other like 2 weeks ago because I wanted to ride my bike to work and shit. And what ended up happening was I had it for like 2 weeks, and I rode past a pile of sticks, and one of the sticks got stuck in something and just fucked the whole bike. I'm amazing. One stick just fucked the whole bike up. I took it to the bike shop and they were like, we're probably not going to be able to fix it. So I'll get the good or bad news by Monday or Tuesday. But that was really the only bad thing that happened all week. Other than that, it's been good. I've been still working on music. In fact, I had just finished writing a song and working on the beat the other night. So things are kind of going along. But there was a bit of a pause though, because I had I talked about this before while I was streaming, but I had like this bout of lethargy, not really depression. I don't really get depressed like that, but I had like this period of lethargy where I didn't really feel passionate about doing anything. It was not really unusual, but it was kind of intense. It was I wasn't unhappy, but I didn't really have the drive to do anything really creative, and that's why it's kind of been like this blind spot in my uploads and shit, because I just wasn't really in the mood, and suddenly it just came. Well, I can't say just suddenly it came back. I took action to figure it out. I did research on lethargy because I knew that was specifically what it is. You got to be careful about how you talk to yourself and the language that you use, because it is a big difference between lethargy and something like depression, because I knew I wasn't depressed. It wasn't like I was suicidal or nothing. It's like I didn't have drive or energy to do anything spectacular. And really it came after I hurt my back and hurt my ankle and I wasn't able to run, and that kind of fucked up my whole like daily schedule and shit. But the beautiful thing about that whole experience though was just me taking action. That's the important part that I want to put out there. Is like I recognized that I was having a problem internally, and so I took action. I did research. I felt like what am I feeling? How do I feel? Okay, lethargy. That's that. Back to lethargy. Like that's exactly what's going on. Okay, let me do some research on this. And actually, looking back, me taking that action is really what led to me kind of getting back into the swing of things. And so this week I've been working on music again. I didn't stream this week because I fucked up and bought a game called The Forest. We'll talk about that later on the gaming channel. But yeah, I'm feeling nice and what do I say? Creative again. I had I had me a good old time the other night. I was writing a song. I'm very excited about it. And I'm trying to get who on this song. You guys know who I'm talking about. I'm gonna hit them up because I got to get somebody on this shit. Y'all gonna see. Shit is funny. But but other than that, man, just make sure you guys like all my videos, comment when you have anything interesting to say. If you haven't subscribed already, do it if you want to. But something else I wanted to talk about too, though, before I get into this, because you guys see, this is the Manipulated Man Part.2, where I finish off giving my thoughts on this amazing book written by Madame Esther Villar. But before I get into all, the whole news and all that shit, something else that I wanted to talk about a little bit. And so I was watching a boxing documentary about what's his name? I think the boxer's name was John Mugabe. I think Mugabe. That was definitely his last name. He had an epic fight with Marvin Hagler back in the 80s. But I was watching this little short documentary, and they were talking about his spending issues because he was from Africa, Uganda, right? And he became a pro boxer. He started making some good money. And the people around him noticed that he had bad spending habits, particularly how he would spend money on friends and family, just kind of throwing money around, you know. And when he was criticized about this, he said in response that in Uganda, if you have food, you share it. In Uganda, if you have shelter, you share it. And I heard it, I listened to that, and I took issue with it. I took issue with it because it sounds nice. It sounds nice, but how good is it really in practice to do things like that? And this is what I mean, right? Because you look at this documentary and it's obvious that his spending habits were a part of his downfall, so to speak. He ended up picking himself together, picking himself back up later in life, but this is after the fact and whatnot. But I took issue with that because I feel like as nice as that sounds, that's not really a wise way of doing things. And I'm sure you guys have heard the old saying, right? Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. And that's really my response to that, to what he said. And see, what I'm saying is that when you're in a position where you have a lot of money or resources, yeah, you could go around, you could throw money around, you could throw food around, give people gifts and presents, but what are you really doing for them? Are you really elevating them? Are you really doing something good for them? When you do stuff like that, you giving people gifts and shit, a lot of those things, a lot of these guys, because you see it time and time again with celebrities. You got a lot of celebrities and people who reach a certain level. They just start handing money out like it's candy on Halloween. And oftentimes it doesn't end well for these type of people. Like oftentimes their careers end in bankruptcy and drama and being broke and shit like that. And it makes me think of a guy, right? There's a guy in my area. He's a homeless man. This dude been homeless since I was a little boy. As far back as I can remember, maybe like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, I've known of this guy. He is like the local homeless dude. And since then, again, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, he was homeless then. He's homeless now. I'm damn near 30. This dude's still homeless. And over all the years, I've seen so many people give him stuff, give him change, give him money, give him food, give him clothes, free haircuts, free this, free that. But this nigga's still on the fucking streets. He's still a fucking bum. All these handouts ain't do shit for him. And so when I hear stories like that, stories like of John Mugabe, people who are just very giving, again, it sounds nice, but are you really doing something of value to people when you just throw stuff at them? And then I thought, what does it mean to really help people out? And then I thought of people like Oprah, people like LeBron James. The things that stand out to me about them is that they weren't just giving out money for no reason. They built schools. Like Oprah built a school in Africa. LeBron James built a school, I believe, in his home city. Like that's how you really make a change. That's how you really make an opportunity. You don't just go around throwing money around, giving out cars and clothes. You create opportunities for people to grow and to better themselves and to put themselves in a better position in life. If you just give somebody $1,000, it's only so much they can do with that, right? But if you sit somebody down and teach them, okay, look, if you take 500, this is what you can do in the stock market, or, you know, or I could show somebody like how I set up my music and do when you actually sit somebody down and teach them how to do something, teach them how to create, teach them how to thrive and prosper, that's true value. But just giving somebody things here and there, that's not really value, because again, that's not, most of the time, that's not going to help elevate them to the next level. You know, when someone is doing bad, they need more than a handout. They need inspiration. They need motivation. They need a plan. They need understanding. They need wisdom. They need knowledge. That's true value. And recently, you know, people talk about low frequency, high frequency, bad vibration, good vibration. And just thinking about this, I was like, and this is just my opinion, but I think his way of looking at things, and it's understandable, right? And again, it sounds nice, but ultimately, I think that's a low frequency way of thinking. When you just, all right, I'm gonna just give things out. That's just what, no. The most valuable thing you can do for somebody is to teach them how to stand on their own 2 feet. The most valuable thing you can do for someone is teach them how to do for themselves. Simply giving things out, at best you can make their day, and at worst, you know, they'll end up being dependent on you. And so that's why I was thinking, like, his way of thinking was really kind of low vibration. And high vibration, high frequency is teaching people how to do for themselves, teaching people how to thrive and grow and reach the level you're at, not just giving them parts of what you have and diminishing yourself while they never really get anywhere. But I know that seemed really off topic, but that was just really what was circulating through my mind today. And I just kind of wanted to put that out there, because I feel like that's a very, that's a nice nugget of wisdom for people to kind of think about. You know, maybe you don't agree, maybe you agree or whatever, but it's just something to think about. So now that we got that out the way, we can get into the Botcast and the fun. Where do we start? No, I'm playing. So first we have the news. Let me get a sip. Today we're drinking water. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep things short. So I'm gonna have like one piece of news here, because I know that goddamn book is gonna eat up 2 or 3 hours again. So I'm buckling in for the long haul. So the piece of news that I'm going to cover today is something that's been making waves all over the internet, especially 4chan. Chris Chan arrested for allegedly raping his elderly mother. Why am I not surprised? Oh, excuse me, Christine Chan arrested for raping his elderly mother. So now, if for those who don't know, and I'm sure you fucking know, Chris Chan is an autistic man who built up his fame by doing basically childish autistic things. The thing that's amazing about Chris Chan is that how well documented his life and exploits are. Hold on, give me 1 sec. I just want to adjust the mic a little bit. I'm not satisfied with you right now. I apologize for this noise. I'm a perfectionist. Okay, but one of the things that's so fascinating about him is just how well documented his life has been ever since he hit the scene. I think he showed up around like the year 2000, and he started building up some popularity because of some like Sonic Pikachu character he created in a web comic that he was doing. And then I guess people started seeing him doing all these weird childish autistic things, and his troubles with girls and all that, and just being a big dumb man child. I mean, let's just call it what it is. And to be honest, I never had much interest in Chris Chan. To me, guys like Oreo Man and Kent, Baraka, all even damn Jamil, Elliot Rogers, guys like that are more interesting to me because they are relative. I'm not gonna say relatively normal, but they're guys who are, you can tell like they're at least for the most part kind of sort of in their right mind, right? They're not that far going, but Chris Chan is obviously just slow as fuck, bro. And that's why I never really took an interest in this character. And I made a tweet on Twitter when all this was going on. I said, hold on, let me make sure I'm even recording. Hold up. I'm talking about him being slow. All right, I got it. I was like, wait a minute, I hit that record button, but I was on Twitter. I made a tweet. I was like, white people talk about Chris Chan like they never seen a slow nigga before. But that's exactly how it seemed. Like, to me, it's nothing special about Chris Chan. The only reason I'm talking about this shit is because it was such a big deal on the internet. And it's my job to report on internet things. But I never really took an interest in him because he's just a slow nigga. Like, I know plenty of slow niggas. It's nothing special when they do some dumb slow shit. And so when I look at him, it's like, okay, he's doing all this weird autistic shit, but he's fucking autistic. He's slow as shit. Of course he's doing it. Like, what? That's like documenting some retarded guy slobbering in the corner somewhere. It's like, yeah, he's fucking retarded. Like, but like I said, I never really took much interest in this guy. But let's read some of the facts. Some of the facts here. Excuse me if you hear like some rumbling. The mic is attached to the desk that's attached. All right, let me see here. Which one do I want to go for? This shit is actually kind of deep. Damn, I forgot how deep this was. Again, there's a lot of Chris Chan lore. I can't even cover half this shit. But here we go. So here's the main article that I was reading. Trans YouTuber Chris Chan, 39, is found as female in police report and will be jailed with women inmates despite being biologically male. And arrested for raping dementia sufferer mother who is 79 years old. Was that the headline I was looking for? It's relevant though. Okay, so let's get into it. So this article says, a 39-year-old internet personality, transgender autistic man accused of incest with his believed to be senile 80-year-old mother has been remanded to a men's jail until his next court appearance. Christine Chandler, also known as Chris Chan, was arrested August 2nd for incest, according to the Greene County Sheriff's Office. It is a Class 5 felony in Virginia, carrying a sentence of no less than 1 year, but no more than 10 years, plus up to a $2,500 fine if convicted. Chandler was formally charged with incest when she was in court August. Wait a minute. You just said he. Now you say, hold up. Hold up. I was doing this according. Hold up. Autistic man. Okay. I don't know, whatever, right? Chandler was formally charged with incest when she was in court August 5th by Greene County Judge David Barreto and was ordered to remain in jail without bond until a preliminary hearing September 16th. Greene County Commonwealth's attorney Edwin Consalvo asked that Chandler remain in the Central Virginia Regional Jail because he said he was concerned about the community's safety and Mrs. Chandler's safety. Her arrest stems from a 9-minute recorded Discord conversation that has been shared online in which Chandler described how she had sex with her possibly senile elderly mother. Chandler was appointed Charlottesville attorney David Heilberg to represent her on the charges. According to Daily Progress reporter Terry Belge, Chandler asked during her initial court appearance that Greene County District Judge Kenneth Andrews Snitherin, wow, that's like some Harry Potter shit, referred to her with female pronouns. Belge explained that during the proceedings, Chandler raised her voice and said, "I'm famous on the internet," to which her attorney told Chandler not to speak again. So this is why people like this guy. I'm famous on the internet. Damn. The Daily Progress reported that Chandler was asked if she had a plan for Bond, but instead she responded that she would need to return to her hotel room in order to retrieve her possessions, then would be able to move forward. There were more outbursts according to, I've been calling this Belgie. It's Beige, I think. Beige, I'm Belgie. Who wrote Hellberg, these fucking names, told the court he would be asking for evaluations of Chandler, who interrupted by stomping her feet and saying loudly that she needed to get everything back home. She then said loudly, "I won't feel safe proceeding until she gets the items back." The Daily Progress reported that the investigation is ongoing and additional charges are pending. According to the Greene County Sheriff's Office, and anyone with information is asked to contact investigator Jason Tooley with the office at. A popular YouTuber and chronicler of Chandler, Gibby, theorized about the items she was referring to in her hotel room. A lot of people are making jokes that it's his Lego and Transformer toys. I personally think he just wants crystals, said Gibby, referring to the belief Chandler has in the magic power of crystals. Twitter user I Cry in My Sleep posted a video of Chandler's car missing her personalized license plates that were apparently stolen. The plates read Sonichu, which is a fictional character created for a comic book that Chandler has been working on since childhood. Goddamn, dude. I ain't gonna lie, that shit is funny, bro. Like, imagining this motherfucker in a courtroom, I'm famous on the internet. Goddamn. But I told you, this a slow ass nigga, bro. Like, this ain't... God, like, really, this is just a slow nigga. People acting like this is like a... It's funny when all right, like the whole EDP shit, that was funny because this is a relatively normal guy in his right mind, and he's sending shit pictures to someone he thinks is 13. That's funny because he's normal. He's basically normal. He just got a weight problem, a serious weight problem. But he's a normal. He's a normal fucking American. This guy's in his right mind. He got no excuse. But this dude is literally slow. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that shit funny, but this dude is slow. Of course he doing slow nigga shit. God damn, bro. It's something else too. So I got this particular piece from the news board on 4chan. It's from a article that was on nationalfile.com. This goes more in depth to what was actually going on, right? So this reads, Christine Chandler, born Christopher Chandler and better known as his internet moniker Chris Chan, has been arrested following reports that he admitted to engaging in sexual intercourse with his 80-year-old mother, who is widely believed to be suffering from some form of dementia and thus may not have been able to consent. Chandler, who has been staying at a hotel in Richmond, Virginia since police served an order of protection preventing him from returning to the family home or having any contact with his 80-year-old mother, was recorded during a live stream by Killstream host and Ralph Retort editor-in-chief Ethan Raff being escorted away from the hotel in handcuffs by local police officers. It is unclear what, if anything, Chandler has been charged with. Numerous clips from the video have already surfaced on social media. As National Fowler originally reported, in a nearly 10-minute audio recording posted to Kiwi Farms, the person identified as 39-year-old Chandler appears to admit to having repeated sexual intercourse and contact with his 80-year-old mother since June of this year, and at one point explains that we've been doing it every third night, and the first night was on June 27th. The person identified as Chandler explained that they approached Barbara Chandler with care and caution in a timed approach that just branched out slowly and steady until they let Barbara make the first move, and she wanted to do it. She's got a really sensitive G-spot because apparently I don't believe her. Any of her past boyfriends, ex-husbands, they haven't really reached, hit her G-spot really, said the person identified as Chandler at one point. ostensibly speaking about their own father. They were more focused on themselves, really, as opposed to focusing on her, which that's my focus. At this point in the call, the other person on the phone call repeatedly noted that they were discussing sexual actions with the 80-year-old mother, and the person identified as Chandler did not dispute this. Chandler also allegedly sent at least 22 text messages about having sexual intercourse with his mother. In them, Chandler allegedly graphically describes that they made another attempt at rubbing her vagina, but noted that it hurt her. After the viral post was made on Kiwi Farms, a YouTuber named Dylan Thomas claims that he contacted Chandler to ascertain if the report was true. I told Chris I wouldn't make this info public, but it was eating away at me, wrote Thomas. I asked Chris if he fucked his mom earlier, and her said it was true. In screenshots posted to Twitter by Thomas, Chandler appears to have written, "I would trust you with the simple answer," and asked Thomas not to post a response before adding, "Yes." Chandler reportedly took at least $750 from his mother's bank account, telling the operator of Kiwi Farms that it was an emergency. Josh Moon, the operator of Kiwi Farms, suggested that this may be in violation of the emergency protective order filed against Chandler. Additionally, Moon had attempted to help Chandler use GoFundMe to raise money needed to attend a My Little Pony convention, and originally pledged to release this money to Chandler. After the revelations, Moon instead instructed GoFundMe to refund the money to those who donated. I mean, obviously, this is just some sickening, some sickening shit. But again, I'm not surprised. It's Christian. Like when I saw the news, I was like, like again, it barely caused a ripple in my ocean. I was just like, oh, it's Christian. But what stood out to me about this whole thing, right? Because there's been much talk about his whole transgender thing, him identifying as female, and as because I do research, not prepared for this stuff, research all this shit, try to figure things out. I'm reading these news articles, and I'm watching them refer to him as a she, a girl, her. There was talk of him going to a female jail, and that's what stood out to me about this whole shit. Like, this is some peak clown world shit that's going on here. Never mind him fucking his mom. Of course he fucked his mom. It's Christian. Like, who gives a fuck? It's Christian. Damn it. It's like, oh yeah, Ted Bundy killed a guy in jail. Of course, Ted Bundy. Damn. Oh yeah, they found a brick of cocaine in French Montana's trunk. Of course, it's French Montana, the Coke boys. Like, I'm not surprised. Shit. But watching all these people go along with this shit, like, I don't talk about this whole transsexual thing a lot, because quite frankly, you got to be careful how you talk about shit, because people are real sensitive about this sort of thing, and I understand that. My goal is never to hurt anyone's feelings or anything like that, but this thing, I had to really reflect when I saw this shit. Like, when I saw, like, serious talk of putting this mentally ill man in a female jail, I couldn't help but think, okay, this shit is going too far. You look at the Olympics and you see this damn dude claiming to be a woman and powerlifting alongside biological females, and it's like everybody we got to play along with this shit. And this is just another example of that. And normally I would never go out of my way to say something like this, because quite frankly, again, I just don't care. I really don't care about this whole tranny shit beyond the porn. You guys know I have a fetish, right? So I don't really care about it beyond that. But now more and more I'm seeing it seep into reality. I'm seeing it here. I'm seeing it in the Olympics and with this whole super straight thing where guys are being shamed for saying they don't want to date a tranny. And I have to be completely honest. This shit seems so ridiculous to me. It's so ridiculous. Like, here is a man who is obviously a man and obviously mentally ill, but he claims to be a woman, and now everybody has to play along. These news articles, she, her, and I'm looking at, and I'm flabbergasted. Like now this is where we are, and I'm just going to say it. This is where I draw the line. This is where I draw the line. If I have to be canceled, if I have to be shamed, attacked, whatever, but I draw the line here. Look, I'm not playing this game. I'm not entering this world where Chris Chan is a girl. This is a mentally ill man, a slow autistic man. This dude would claim to be trans hedgehog if it was a thing. If he could get away with it, he would do that. You know, now I'm not making a blanket statement about transsexuals, right? I'm not, but this a dude, this a whole nigga. Trust me. Look, trust me. This ain't it. and just seeing all these people play along with it. Because you gotta be nice. It's honestly, it's concerning to me. And it wasn't a big deal when it was just an internet thing, when it was just, okay, I'm just gonna jack off to some traps. It wasn't a problem then. When it was just something to talk about on the internet. But more and more I'm seeing it seep into reality, and I'm seeing how it has an effect on now it's having an effect on reality and real things. And it's concerning to me, and I have to admit that, like, this shit, that's what's really good. Chris Chan is gonna rape his mom, of course, but seeing people play along with this nigga, that's what's concerning to me. To where if I call it out, I'm the bad guy. And so, if I don't get it, if I'm just ignorant, because I'm sure I probably got fans who are transsexual, gay, whatever, right? And maybe I just don't get it. I'm going to take it upon myself to do more research into this. I've never had much interest in this shit beyond just my porn fetish for trannies, right? That's what it was always for me. I never really cared about the logistics, like what's really a female. I never give a fuck about that shit. But now I'm seeing it in reality, and I gotta. This is my point of view, and I think this, honestly, I believe this is problematic. This is problematic, and it's concerning. And if anyone has a problem with that, again, I'm gonna take it upon myself to look more into this shit, because it's getting kind of scary. But look, you can be mad all you want, but we got to talk about this. Like, if you want me to cross that line into the world where Chris Chan is a female, we got to talk first. So we got to I need scientific papers. I need details. I need some books. Like, look, if I need to have I need to talk to some thoroughbred rainbow flag waving motherfuckers. Cause I'm not buying this shit. I'm not buying this shit, and I'm just keeping it a buck. And maybe this is something that I'm gonna have to do a whole Botcast episode on, like just talk about the whole transsexual thing, because it's getting to a different level now. It's bubbling up and it's seeping through the cracks, and it needs to be addressed in a serious way outside of just being nice, you know. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being 100%. This is Emmanuel speaking, right? Like I'm being 100% sincere here. This shit is honestly concerning to me. Like this, I'm seeing it more and more, and it's like, hold up, we got to talk about this shit. Like, we got to put the niceness to the side. I need you to tell me why Chris Chan is a female based on fucking what? that little slit hole between his asshole and his ball sack. I've seen it. It's on 4chan like every other week. But seriously, man, I gotta talk to some people. I gotta do some research, because you guys know I keep it 100%, and we live in a society and a culture where if you have the wrong opinion, you're gonna be heavily shamed and attacked. And when I saw this, I realized, okay, like I had to reflect. I was like, hold up, bro. Cause when I'm looking at this shit, and every part of my being, from the physical to the mental to the spiritual, is saying, oh, something's not right here. And I can't hold that in. And so my takeaway from all this, again, Chris Chan is gonna fuck his mom, of course. But my takeaway from this is like, I really gotta take a serious look at this whole transsexual thing. Cause for me, it was always a porn thing. It was always a internet joke. Traps are gay. And like, it was fun then. When it was just, hey, are traps gay? Like, that's fun. But now, you got this motherfucker in the Olympics pushing weight like Goku. He lost, by the way. So just gotta throw that out there. But still, like, this is honestly is concerning to me. And the fact that talk of him being a female female jail was even on the table. This, I'm telling you, like, I don't know what's gonna happen. But I feel like we're gonna hit a breaking point. We're gonna hit a break because shit is getting too silly. And like I said, I'm gonna do my part and do serious research on this shit, because maybe I just don't get it. And I'm gonna even try to talk to some thoroughbred rainbow flag, trans flag waving motherfuckers, because I need to do like, in fact, my plan is I'm gonna do like how I did with Seth from 5chan. I'm gonna get a transsexual on the show and just have a serious discussion about this shit. Because I really want to understand it on a more serious level, beyond the porn. But that was really my takeaway from this shit. Again, Chris Chan, of course he fucked his mom. I don't care. But I'm not crossing that line. I'm not playing that game where Chris Chan is a girl. No. We gonna have to talk about that first. So, oh man. But now I know I said that I was only gonna talk about one news thing, right? But I just want to touch something briefly, and I'm gonna talk about it more on the next episode. I'm gonna make that the thread of the day, because it's big talk. Like, it's kind of overshadowing the whole Chris Chan thing at the moment. I just want to talk about it very briefly. If you'll excuse me and give me just hopefully 1 minute. No. Oh, but no. But before I move on from the Chris Chan thing, I seen her picture and I'm like, okay, I gotta talk about this shit right here too. I forgot. Cause like she's becoming as big as Chris Chan in this whole story. But okay, so alongside Chris Chan fucking his mom and claiming to be a woman and me taking issue with it. So there's a female who was involved in all this, right? And from what I understand, what people are saying was that she was kind of egging Chris Chan along to do these things. Now, one thing we know about Chris Chan is that he's had a checkered past when it comes to girls. Basically, no success whatsoever, right? And so, from what I've gathered about this girl, it seems like people are saying she was damn, she got some big ass titties. Damn. I saw people talking about her titties. I was like, it can't be that big. I pulled up this picture like, whoa, boobas. Damn. But no, she's gross. It's more to it. But yeah, but from what people are saying, she was manipulating Chris Chan and nudging him to do these things. And that's really even more concerning because, one, she's going to get away with it if it's true. And two, it makes sense. Because I told you, Chris Chan is a slow ass nigga. Like, when you slow, like, somebody that's more intelligent than you can make you do shit. Can So, you know, you can't make nobody do shit, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he's dumb. So she could, the combination of his lack of intelligence and just overall degenerate childlike mind combined with his attraction to women and his desire to be with a woman, if she was in correspondence with Chris Chan and trying to and just allegedly nudging him towards doing these weird things, maybe with the promise of gaining her affection, I could see how that could be the case, because that's really the story that people are spinning around her, and I could definitely see that being the case. I don't want to reach too far, but if she was as involved as people say, it's definitely a possibility that had she not been talking to him, this whole thing might have never happened. You know, because again, him being dumb, but also, boobas, goddamn, he'll probably do goddamn anything. He see them big ass titties, he like, whoa, I gotta fuck who? You want it on film or what? I can see that, but she's become like a fascinating character even in of herself. I gotta do some more research on this bitch. I'm more interested in her than Christian, but not like that. She's gross. Like, this bitch got foot fungus. She got acne. I got some acne going on right now. I guess I'm going through some hormonal changes. But her acne, like, it's nasty. It's like crusty red bumps and shit around her mouth. She's gross. She's really, like, disgusting. But she got some big ass titties. God, if you could just, like, put her body in a hazmat suit and cut out the titty part and just suck them titties, damn. Woo. She got an amazing chest. I give it to her. But look at this post here. I'm a lonely 4chan dweller in college for computer engineering. I'm unsuccessfully attempting to fit in with the bitchy girls I'm surrounded with. Roast me. And the people, of course, R9K were like calling out how she's like trying to, this kind of girl right here scares me. I'm not even gonna lie. This kind of chick scares me for real, bro. Like, these are the kind of girls that you really got to be careful of. You got to be real careful with girls. Like, look at those eyes. Look at those eyes. Like, and I don't want to put dirt on her name. So if all the talk about her is untrue, then I truly apologize. But if it is, I'm scared. I would be very scared of this girl. Cause this is that type of craziness. This is the type of what's that girl name? The one that stabbed that dude to death and shit. There was a big court case. What was it? Something Anthony? No, it wasn't Casey Anthony. Or maybe it was, I forgot. But I'm sure you guys know, like the one the girl who stabbed the dude to death in the shower and shot him, and it was a big case, and she was mildly attractive. And she kind of give me that kind of vibe. Like, she would kill somebody. Like, she give me that. I would kill a guy for leaving me type shit, bro. Like, God damn. I'm definitely gonna look more into, like, she's more interesting to me than really Christian, because. And I've seen girls like this before, like just kind of on the internet. Like it's hard to really put them in a box, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. At the same time, it's like she's this mildly attractive girl who has an interest in weird guys, and maybe that's why I'm so scared of her. Maybe that's why I'm so scared of her because. I'm not Christian level weird, but I'm a pretty weird dude. And I worry that I could attract a girl like this, like on Discord or something like that. And she's just gonna find a way to just fuck my life. I swear, man. But these girls are dangerous because they're mildly attractive. And so guys like us, like weird guys who don't have a lot of success with women and shit and don't have a lot of experience, and if you especially if you don't understand the game and you're not careful, they can really take advantage of you and have it's kind of like the guy who created 8chan, like that whole fiat, like the crippled guy who's like the size of a potato. No offense, but he's crippled as fuck. Like, come on. And the girl he was messing with, right? She literally scooped him up like a baby and then put him through all kinds of crazy shit. She's like that. Like, she's that kind of girl. And like I said, you gotta be real careful with chicks. Like these, again, these mildly attractive girls that try to fit in like the male loser spaces, the R9Ks and shit. Never trust a girl like, I'm telling you, never trust a girl like this. And they're so dangerous because they're mildly attractive, and weird guys aren't used to girls like that taking an interest in them. I'm telling you, never trust a girl like that. But I'm gonna definitely look more into her. It's gotta be some titty pictures somewhere now. But before I move on to like the OC and shit, right? Let me just do some quick Googling. I'm not gonna talk much about this, but I want, cause I'm gonna really hit this on the next episode. But so there was a shooting in it's called Britain's deadliest mass shooting in more than a decade, and at least 6 people were killed. So there was a mass shooting in Britain, but one is interesting because you don't have a lot of mass shootings in Britain because gun control is so stringent and the people aren't fucking crazy. The people aren't just fucking crazy like they are in America. I mean, that's just, it's funny because I was reading a thread and a guy was breaking down like the gun laws in Britain, and he was like, it's really not that hard to get a gun. If you really want a gun, you can get a gun. It's just that most people just don't want to go through the shit to get a gun and have no need for a gun. But his whole point was like, look, we're not shooting each other because we can't get guns. We can get guns. You Americans are just fucking crazy. And I think the guy who did the shooting, I haven't confirmed this yet, but someone said it in passing. They said he was from America and moved to Britain. And so if that's the case, then we look even worse. We look even worse then. But what's interesting about this guy, like, he almost on some Elliot Rodger type shit. Now, he ain't on that level. I ain't giving him that much credit, but he in that same lane, Like if Elliot Rodgers is the golden standard 10 on autistic incel mass murderers, this guy is like he's like a 6 or at least a 5. I give him at least a 5. Like he in that lane because before he did the shooting, he dropped like these YouTube videos talking about being unsuccessful with women. And he wasn't really that unattractive. Like he was like a weightlifter. He had like weird, like he was kind of like, kind of like built fat, but not a bad looking dude at all, if you ask me. But not a pretty boy like Elliot Rodger. But again, he kind of had that same thing where it's like, you don't look like someone that would really struggle to get women, yet you're depressed and complaining about being a virgin and not having success with women. And like he distinctly talked about in one video, or at least in the title, about missing out on teenage love. So hitting some of those incel R9K talking points. And when you do that and combine that with a mass shooting, I mean, you're instantly going to become a star on that little weird virgin incel space of the internet. So I'm going to look more into this over the week. We're going to talk more about this in the TOD on the next episode. I don't want to get into it too much, but it's kind of a developing story. But it's like we might have like a Elliot Rodger light going on here, but we'll see. As his YouTube, like, I think people are still trying to find like his YouTube videos. They got like deleted and shit. So we'll see, man. Hopefully some of that stuff survived. I mean, not Yeah, not again. Fuck this guy, obviously, but it's interesting getting into the minds of people who do shit like this and trying to know their motivations for doing something so horrific. And it's especially interesting to me when people do stuff like this over their lack of success with women. Because I've said this once and I say it again. You look at most of these guys who do these mass shootings and shit. They're not very successful with women. That's the common thread. You know, when these guys who aren't black, I gotta throw that in there because we kill the fuck out of each other, and we making babies and all that shit, fucking everything. So that whole niggas killing niggas thing is different. But I'm talking about when, you know, seemingly normal white or kind of white guys do shit like this. Yeah, and the common thing with them all is that they're not very successful with women. It's like, you know, is this just another sign of the 80-20 rule, hypergamy, red pill, black pill, female nature shit, Kevin Samuels, Coach AMS, like all that? Is this just another sign of that, of that being our reality? Oh man, like I said, I'm not gonna get too much into it now, but we're gonna definitely hit that hard on the next episode. But I just wanted to touch that briefly. So next we're gonna have some OC, and then we're gonna get to the main topic. And yeah, damn, I'm excited about it, even though it's been a while. Okay, so hold on, let me adjust the mic a little bit. So before we get into the main topic, we are going to have the OC block section, segment, time, whatever you want to call it. I know the last time that I did the OC in just one section, right, instead of like piecing it out throughout the podcast, someone said that they preferred it that way, and I don't know if I'm going to do it like that every time, but certainly this time. And I don't know, I think I kind of like it better that way too. I might even have like multiple blocks in one episode. I don't have like a big main topic or something, but you know, we're going to do it in one section for now and probably for the foreseeable future. We'll see how that goes. Like the intro, news, OC, main topic, TOD, comments, in. I like that. But that's why these goddamn podcasts can last fucking 4 hours and shit, but whatever. So today we have 5 different pieces of OC for you guys. Some nice music for us to check out and for me to critique. We got some good stuff here. So first we have, let me check the name here. We have Freedom Bumps. Freedom Bumps lo-fi type beat. I'm not sure if that's his producer name or not, or I think that's just the name of the beat. But I'll put a link to his channel in the picture that accompanies the track. But let's have a listen.
Cries out the universal brotherhood, the unity of us all.
Okay, so that was Freedom Bumps, lo-fi type beat. Now that was kind of beat. It's rather simple. Doesn't have a lot of different arrangements within it. But I really like simple beats like that. Has a boom bap feel to it. Those kind of beats are really easy for me to rap to. Like generic boom bap beats, generic trap beats. Those those tend to be the easiest for me to rap to. But the thing about this beat, it had some guy, some type of speech in the background. So obviously, this isn't the kind of beat that somebody could take and rap over because it had that speech going on in the background that was from whatever. I'm sure it was probably from like some movie or something. But I guess if you're a producer and you don't really have anybody to rap over your stuff, then you got to resort to stuff like that. Maybe it was an artistic decision, but I'm not a big fan of just overlaying beats with stuff like that, unless it's done in like a very creative way to where it becomes like one with the actual beat. You know, kind of like Kanye West Mercy, that song, and the way he had combined like that weird that weird speech in that foreign language. I think it was in a foreign language with the beat, like shit like that. I like that, like when it goes perfectly with the beat. But it was pretty cool. Simple boom bap beat. I would give it 2.5. You know, simple shit. Now we have, wait, who is this? Okay, now we have Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. No, this is Dio with Enigma, a dark trap beat. Some good water. Okay, that was Dio with Enigma. Not much to say about that one. It is kind of exactly what it says. A dark trap beat. Pretty generic, if you ask me, but there's nothing really wrong with that. I think beats like this, though, they really need someone to rap over it. Like beats, because I make a lot of kind of generic, like either like boom bap, lo-fi, trap type beats. But, you know, I usually do it with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to rap to this. You know, it doesn't matter if it's really generic, if somebody's going to rap to it. But if not, then it kind of just blends in with a lot of the other kind of just, random SoundCloud trap type beats you can find. It's of quality, but pretty generic. I give it a 2.5. So this is Tensity with Vision. Let's go. I'm like a DJ.
I'm feeling different, one of a kind high. Oh, I might just mix it. I might just hit it. I might just finish off the bed and buy a one. Let me just burn up my time. Let me just hit up your line. Let me just I was made way too divine, but it ain't on go outside. I'ma just nothing gon' be other tapes that I do. Nothing gon' be other tapes that I do. Keep tryna run away, but the dogs keep catching up with me. We bills MDMA, you know where to get me, I just design, coke in the blunt, don't know what I want, keep on breathing and smoking through my lungs. I'm feeling different, one of a kind high, I might just mix it. I might just hit it. I might just finish off the bed and buy a new one.
Okay, so that was Tensity with Vision. Now, the production of it, let's talk about that first. That was overall pretty solid. And I think the vibe of the song was kind of, I don't want to say sad boy, but it was actually kind of sad boy-ish, almost too sad. This dude sounded too depressed on the track. But I like the general vibe of it. But I think his energy needs a bit tweaking, and the editing of his voice maybe. I definitely like where he's going with it, but I think that it needs a bit of work. The production side was pretty on point, but I think that and that the general tone and vibe was there. I see where he was going with it, but I just think that it needs a bit more. It needs a bit more polish to really pop for me. It's got to have that pop. So I'll give that one a 2 out of 5. Definitely potential there, but it needs some polish to really pop for me. So next we have B Glows June 19th. I like that name.
Why
Okay, that was BB Glows. I don't even know if I'm saying that name right. With June 19. Kind of an interesting concept beat tape, really. The whole thing is like all the titles are the various dates of June, actually. But that's an interesting beat. It kind of sounds like it really sounds like three different beats kind of jammed together. My favorite part though is the second half. The part is like dun, 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 dun. It's kind of hard to critique a beat that's where different parts of it sound so vastly different though. But that part in particular really stood out to me. I really like that vibe. Really, I think if that whole beat was just that, I would give it a 3 out of 5. But because I really only like that part, that second half, I give it a 2.5 out of 5. And last but not least, we have Trivy with Shield, produced by Grutz Beats. I don't know. Let's just check it out.
Never, yeah, never, yeah, never. Trevi, yeah, it's aura, forever, yeah, never let a sideline walker call the play. It's me really how I live. See no cap, I pop the lid. Pressure up, I sacrifice. Check my aura, that's the light. Let on hope that I was wrong. I'm still gonna do all that I like. It ain't no mine. I can't see what you can see on the outside. I'm in the field. I see demons I done killed. Try to show me this ain't real. Yeah, that's doubt that I don't feel. What? So I went talk out dead, cause you can't fathom how I'm built. And I put that on my shit. A little Betty, she sent me on way, and that's just how I like. I don't wanna be crushed. Still trying to learn how to juggle the fact that I like everybody, but never give trust. But follow the leader, I'm always on up. Swerving my body, I sip from the cup. Sizing me more like you trying your luck. Just get out the way, I get hit by the truck. Man, stuck with this energy max. Really, it's never been matched. A lot of you rappers that claim that you all in my lane, but you never step foot on this track, and you know what you lack. You always stand in the bag. Me, I was put in the front. I only wanted to learn how to cope. Now they ain't got enough of what I want. Yeah, never let a sideline walker call the play. It's me really how I live. See no cap, I pop the lid. Pressure up, I sacrifice. Check my aura, that's the light. Let on hope that I was wrong. I'm still gonna do all that I like. It ain't no might. I can't see what you can see on the outside. I'm in the field. I see demons I done killed. Try to show me this ain't real. What? It's doubt that I don't feel. So I went talk out dead, cause you can't fathom how I'm built. And I put that on my shield. Never, yeah, never, yeah, never. Trevi, yeah, it's aura, forever, yeah.
Oh, okay. That was Trivy with Shield. Definitely the standout track of the night. I really enjoyed this one. The production is top notch, very catchy, very sometimes with that I notice with some of the beats that I like, it has like just it can be a simple beat because it's really simple, but it has like just like that right sound, right? Kind of reminds me of when I made the Couldn't Say Hello beat, how that one sound when the beat really drops just kicks in and it makes the whole beat just pop. This beat had that as well with that little I can't even make that sound, but you know the sound, I'm sure. but it's that one sound on the beat that really makes it pop. And this is the kind of beat, all credit to the guy who rapped over it, but this is the kind of beat where as long as any decent rapper could make could make that sound good because the production side of it is so well done. But the artist himself, I definitely like his style. I mean, really, he sounds like someone you could hear on the radio. Like if I was in the car and I heard that on the radio, I wouldn't even. It wouldn't even be something where it's like, why is it on the radio? Like it would blend right in with the sound that you hear now. I like the hook. It was somewhat catchy. It was a decent hook. Decent lyrics, not like a standout lyricist, but overall just solid. And it like he blended perfectly with the beat, and that's really all you need. Overall, I would give that a 4 out of 5. And I give it the Chad Marco stamp of approval. This one is going on the MP3 player. That's what you know is good. So I hope you guys enjoyed that OC segment. Section block time. Next we have the main topic where I make fun of women. No, but stay tuned.
Never, yeah, never. Trevor, yeah, it's Aura. Forever, yeah, yeah. Never let a sideline walk or call to play. It's me really how I live. See no cap, I pop the lid. Pressure up, I sacrifice. Check my aura, that's the light. Let on hope that I was wrong. I'm still gonna do all that I like. It ain't no mind. I can't see what you can see on the outside. I'm in the field. I see demons I done killed.
Hello, people. Welcome back. And so now we get back into the tale of the manipulated man child. Where did I leave off at? That's going to be the hard part. Okay, hold up. All right, but in case you didn't know, I better do a quick recap. The Manipulated Man is a book written by a woman named Esther Villar. On the cover, it says, men have been trained and conditioned by women, not unlike the way Pavlov conditioned his dogs into becoming their slaves. So this whole book is very much a red pill MGTOW-esque book. But what's interesting about it is that it's from the perspective of a woman all the way from 1971, 2, 3, 4-ish. So that's what kind of makes it fascinating, is that, you know, to a lot of guys, this whole red pill shit seems like some new age knowledge, but you can trace a lot of this knowledge back 20, 40, 60 years ago, you know, and really, I've heard this quite often, but they say a lot of this is just like, it's basic pimp knowledge. Really, this is stuff that pimps already understood, but it's just, you know, it's kind of amazing how a lot of this just flew under the radar for so long, how a lot of female manipulation tactics and the dynamics of the relationship between men and women weren't really exposed the way that they are now. But without further ado, let's finish off this book here. Okay, so here she says, the basic principle of sex as a reward does not vary from woman to woman. They all offer themselves to a man, stress their charms, and then, providing he has performed his tricks, satisfactorily reward him. And since they never cease to keep him in a state of sexual excitement, he will demand the reward again and again. It is only men with reduced sexual potency who can afford to make do with sporadic affairs and live the life of a hippie year after year without feeling the need of a regular reward. Let's touch on that a little bit. It is only men with reduced sexual potency who can afford to make do with sporadic affairs and live the life of a hippie year after year without feeling the need of a regular reward. And I can't help but think of myself a little bit. Reduced out, I wouldn't say reduced sexual potency. Maybe I would say reduced sexual drive. Like, if you don't have a very strong sex drive, then you won't need that reward. Because maybe that's why I've been able to live my life the way that I have. But then again, when you look at my porn habits, like, obviously there's something going on there. But maybe pornography has always been a sufficient enough outlet for my sexual desires. So let's continue. One of the results of this female system of sex rewards is that a man with strong sexual needs must be more obedient to women than others. Look at the advertisements for dynamic, enterprising, energetic, enthusiastic young men. So much in demand in business. What are such men, in fact, but sexually dependent psychopaths who have set their standards in women too high? Why else would a man use all his energy and imagination to sell a particular commercial product? Only for this reward. The whole world outside his office window beckons him with the promise of adventure. Yet so strong is his sex drive that he gladly forgoes all that is there and instead buys himself a woman with his hard-earned money. But even if he calls her his adventure, she would never be a substitute for what he has lost. When and if he meets her, everything will follow the strict system of supply and demand with its rigid rules and almost total lack of surprise. Now, this is another interesting part here. Why are men, why are such men, no, this part in particular. One of the results of this female system of sex rewards is that a man with strong sexual needs must be more obedient to women than others. And see, that's important, the word need. When you look at a lot of these guys, a lot of these like red pill channels and shit, one of the main things that they would try to tell you is that somebody ringing, the phone ringing? I'm tripping. But oftentimes what you would hear is you have to learn how to be alone. You have to learn how to be satisfied without women. You know, women are the cherry on top, not the whole cake. That sort of mentality. And so what they're doing, they're trying to put you in a mindset where you don't need women. Therefore, you don't need to be obedient to a woman. You can retain your freedom as a man when you don't need a woman to be satisfied and happy throughout your life. And that is the state of mind that they try to get you in. And I feel like what she's saying here kind of touches on that. The man with strong sexual needs must be more obedient to women than others. And so, you know, if you do want to avoid becoming the slave of women, then you have to get your sex drive under control. And the thing about it, I used to be more critical of guys, but it's like, why can't you just be like me? But I think now I'm more accepting of the fact now, or really, maybe I just want to believe this, but maybe people are just built different. You know, some people might just have a stronger sex drive than others. And maybe I was just blessed with a much weaker sex drive to where I'm satisfied. I'm fucking happy as hell, even without ever getting a whiff of the pussy. No sex whatsoever. And yet I'm okay. But, you know, other guys. But then I think back, even as a kid, I never had that desire to get married or have children of my own. Like that was just never there, you know. So, but other guys, that's all they ever wanted. You know, and so that's why I try not to be too critical of guys who end up in that I don't want to say trap, but you got that mindset where you feel like you need to have a certain type of lifestyle, a lifestyle that requires the compliance and faith and love and acceptance of a female. But if you can't, it's difficult. Because now, because of the lifestyle you want, you're dependent on the woman to hold up her end of the bargain. And as we know nowadays, it's hard to guarantee that. So here she says, Freud was merely the victim. So she's talking about Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud, is it Freud or Freud? I think it's Freud. Fraud him. So Freud was merely the victim of training by women's self-abasement techniques. Thanks to his mother, wife, and probably his daughters as well, he confused cause and effect. A woman only says she is worth less than a man. She doesn't really think it. If anyone ought to feel a sense of envy, it is men. They should be jealous of women's power, but of course they never are, for they glory in their powerlessness. And see, that kind of makes me think of this is something I've been thinking of even recently. Like, I believe that a lot of men underestimate women. I think that's one of our biggest problems. Like, and I talked about this in the Night Walk vlog where I talked about the whole idea of it being a man's job to approach women. And I wanted to talk about that because I see these guys who say shit like, women are just too feminine to do it. There's just all that. And again, I get where they're coming from, but I think they're underestimating what women are willing to do when they really want something. And like I said in the video, when women are faced with guys who are very attractive, guys who are actually like at the higher level, you see them take on those aggressive traits, those man-like masculine traits in terms of trying to trap those guys, hunt those guys down, get in those guys' pants, get that semen, get that ring. Like how they aggressively go after these type of guys. Again, I think it goes back to how we underestimate women. Women are a lot more powerful than we think. It's just their power is not physical strength. Really, to be fair, a lot of their power comes from our desire to be with them, and they exploit that. So here she says, in the realm of sex, more than any other, man is a victim of the principles of efficiency, according to which he is manipulated. Indeed, he sets his own standards 3 times in a row, very good, twice good, once satisfactory. If he fails as a sex machine, he is, in his opinion, a total failure. Even if he is a brilliant scientist, he would never again be really happy. Women know this and take advantage. For example, hold on, am I supposed to read these examples? I don't want to. Okay, I don't think I have to. Okay. But this is a very important part here. If he fails as a sex machine, he is, in his opinion, a total failure. Now, I believe I talked about this on the Nightwalk vlog when I was talking about having a talking about I noticed that when I was talking about having a small dick, right? And the reason why I can deal with it, the reason why I can handle having a small dick and knowing that a lot of women are going to find that unattractive is that my ego isn't wrapped up in being good at sex. My ego isn't wrapped up in being attractive to women. So I can live with that. I can live with being deficient in certain areas because I know that I can be efficient in other areas, right? But a lot of guys don't have that kind of mentality. A lot of guys, and again, this might go back to the guy who he wants that one thing. He wants to have a family, or he wants to be a ladies' man. His whole goal is to have a girl and lay up with her. You know, if he has a small dick, or he's too short, or too this, too that, and he feels like he's unattractive to women, then that can really make him go out of his fucking mind. I mean, you look at that shooting in Britain that I just talked about earlier. Again, the problems that he put on the table were his issues with women and his lack of self-esteem and his self-image issues. So again, it's the perfect example of what she's talking about. Like me and him just on opposite sides of the spectrum. I'm what happens when you separate your ego from say, okay, my self-worth is based on how women feel about me. My self-worth is based on, how big my dick is or how attractive women find me, versus what happens when your entire well-being is, okay, I have to be attractive to women. I have to get a girlfriend. I have to do this. And if I don't, I'm just going to kill everybody. Like it can get that bad, right? Even if he is a brilliant scientist, he would never again be really happy. Women know this and take advantage. Now she says, for example, but there's one example that she says that's kind of funny to me. She said she can threaten to expose his sexual inadequacy unless he does everything she wants. Since a man would rather be called a thief or a murderer than impotent, he would bow his head to his fate and do what he is told. This kind of makes me think about, how girls, they'll break up with a guy and be like, well, your dick is small. Like that's pretty much what she's saying, Again, this perception of your worth being how attractive you are. So Here she says, the sexual competence in a man is a matter of indifference to the majority of females. It's shown by the number of highly paid men who marry and stay married despite the fact that they are impotent. It is inconceivable that a woman without a vagina would have any prospects whatsoever of getting married to a normally sexed man. Now here's another point where I disagree with her on. And so her presumption here, or the idea that she's presenting, is that women are indifferent to the sexual competence of a man. Now, I'm not about to go on a being good at sex is 90% having a big dick. I'm not going on another big dick rant, right? But even people who are adamantly against that idea that penis size is at all important, right, will at least say, you know, women still need a man who's skillful at sex, whatever the fuck those. No, but whatever those skills might be, you know, women might say, or men, you know, fingering, licking, foreplay, whatever. You'll see women say, well, size doesn't matter, but you won't see them say, well, your sexual competency doesn't matter at all. And so this is another thing that I disagree with her on. But still, she at the same time, she's bringing up a good point. She mentions the number of men who are sexually incompetent who marry and stay married despite the fact that, you know, they can't fuck for shit. And what she's obviously alluding to is that women have a greater concern for a man's resources than his sexual capabilities. But now I believe we have a greater understanding of this phenomenon, and we call it alpha fucks, beta bucks. And so while I do agree with what she says about how women will get with a guy and even stay with a guy who has resources, because resources is one of their primary concerns and one of the things that they prioritize when selecting a mate, I think now we have a much better understanding of the fact that women do like sex. There are certain guys who just women absolutely lust for. And I just believe that this, I don't know how it happened, but this is a total blind spot, if you ask me, in her whole book and theory. But it is what it is. You know, you're not going to hit every mark on the head. And maybe if we were to talk now, she would even disagree. But I just think now it's too much evidence that women do in fact like sex. It's just that they operate on the dual mating strategy. You know, well, I will marry a guy who's not as sexually competent as long as he has resources. And if she's really scummy, she'll cheat on him with the guy who actually can give her the quality of sex that she wants. Because now, especially, you hear a lot more women. I'm not going on a big dick rant, but you do hear a lot of women complain about the size of men's penises. You know, this whole size mattering debate didn't come from nowhere. There are plenty of women who are open about the fact that they prefer a guy to be big, and if not that, to definitely not be small. But that's one aspect of sexual competency. 90% of the time I'm playing, or am I? I'm not. But I think now it's much more obvious that, yeah, women do like sex, but it's just that the way they do it, they do the dual mating strategy thing. Oh, I'll fuck with the big dick thug niggas in my youth. I'll get married to a nice guy. And another aspect of it now is that because divorce is normalized, it's a normal, acceptable thing. Now women can get that big dick thug nigga sex when they're young, marry a beta when they're a bit older, secure the bag, divorce him, go back to the streets, or some variation of that tactic. You know, if they're savvy about it. A lot of women mismanage their pussy, but I digress. Okay, so Here she says, from the moral point of view, everyone should have the right to lie. It helps us to stave off society's often too bold attempts to supervise us and thus minimizes our own personal fight for existence. The disadvantage of lying is that if everyone does it, it loses its usefulness. If anyone is gullible enough to believe something that is not true, he must himself love the truth and assume a similar love in others. Consequently, a lie becomes a luxury. It has rarity value. The rarity value has to be maintained by incessant denigration. In the interest of liars, therefore, it is very important that women teach men love of truth, for only if he loves truth is she able to afford the luxury of lying. You know what I thought about this was what she said. Everyone should have the right to lie. And this is something that I had to reflect on, right? Because you always got to think about your own moral compass. And I had to think about, okay, I'm going to be real with you. I do agree with the whole, like, yeah, you should be able to lie within reason. I'm not saying you should be an absolute fucking liar. But I think, just like she says, it helps us to stave off society's often too bold attempts to supervise us and thus minimizes our own personal fight for existence. You know, like if someone just asks you a question, but it's something you would rather keep private, right? You can't say, well, I'd rather not say, because then you're basically admitting, right? I'd rather keep that to myself. Or for the most part, you can't use that as a defense because you're almost basically admitting guilt then, right? And so that's why I agree with her in that, in a way, you do kind of need the right to, you do like, that is a power that you can use. And it's not for the sake, at least for me, whenever I lie, it's never for the sake of trying to hurt or deceive anyone. It's either because I'm trying to retain my privacy, and I can't be blatant about that without, again, you basically sound guilty when you say shit like that, right? Or for peace. I forgot who said it, but someone said men lie for peace. Like, that's, whenever I lie, it's shit like that. But it's also, again, what she said, like, it has to be something that's used in rarity. It's something that you can't abuse. And I would say, again, because I might be exposing myself a bit here, but this is something that even I thought about myself. Like, yeah, you do kind of, I'm not gonna say you need to, but that is a power. There is a power in tactful use of lies and half truths. You know, it's just, you don't want to get to that point where you're known as a liar. Like my friend's stepdad, we look at him like a fucking liar because he's always fucking lying. But people don't look at me like I'm a liar, but I've lied just, yeah. Again, it's very rare, but I do it when I want to keep something to myself. That's my business, or just for peace. You know, it might be something like, just for example, right? If an ugly gorilla type bitch came up and just straight up asked me out, I would say, oh nah, I got a girlfriend, right? I might use that. I could be more upfront and just say I'm not interested. But if you want to save someone, if you want to reduce the hurt of someone's ego, then a girl can say, oh, I have a boyfriend. Or I can say, oh, I have a girlfriend, right? And yeah, it's a lie, but it's a lie that's told for the sake of not hurting someone's feelings, you know, and it doesn't really have any sort of major impact or anything like that. You know, what you wanted to happen, happened. You know, you basically rejected them, but by saying that, oh, well, I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, then they can think, well, it's not me, if only, you know. But that's the point I think she's trying to make, is tactful use of lying, but not becoming an outright liar to where that's what you're known as. But the other part of her point, though, is that it is very important that women teach men love of truth. For only if he loves truth is she able to afford the luxury of lying. So basically saying that, you know, men might be a bit too forthright with women while they're just deceiving and manipulating all over the place. Oh shit, I flipped over too many pages. Give me a second here. Okay, so here she talks about children a bit. So she says, children are endearing, which in itself is no reason for producing them. I swear to God, man, she's depressing sometimes, but I don't want kids. The creation of a child is in effect the creation of an adult man or woman. Most adult men live in a state of permanent hell, and the happiness of most women is not only primitive, but obtained mostly at other people's expense, so that there is no justification for reproducing them. Now, I believe that she's overgeneralizing here. Or maybe I'm a bit too optimistic. But for her to say most adult men live in a state of permanent hell, I just can't agree with that. I mean, I'm happy, I'm enjoying life. And I'm sure there's plenty of other guys out there who are happy and enjoying life, women who are happy and enjoying life. But at the same time, I acknowledge that that hell part is real. It's a lot of people going through that hell part, men and women. And I wouldn't say I'm an anti-natalist. Like, I'm not, hey, everybody should stop reproducing. I'm not that guy. But me personally, I don't want kids. And the thing is, when someone doesn't want kids, a lot of people look at it as like a sign of immaturity or selfishness or something like that. But I think really a lot of times it's anything but, you know, really, I don't want kids. More than anything, it's not just, of course, the investment, the time and all that. I think like for me, I don't want kids for their sake. Honestly, this world that we live in is heaven or hell, depending on your mindset, depending on your environment, depending on your circumstances and whatnot. It can be heaven or hell. And me, I'm just not willing to force someone into existence and put that on them to where, okay, I bring you into the world and you end up being, your life is hell, like what she says, right? I mean, you might be one of those people who just enjoy life, maybe, but I'm not about to make that decision for you. That's to me, that's just too heavy. I can't, not in the state that I'm in, right? I just don't feel like I have that kind of authority. So that's why I kind of found it interesting that she touched on that, because when a lot of people talk about having kids or not having kids, they talk about the work of it, the effort, the money, the things you have to do for the child. But here, what she said really kind of resonated with me, because one of the biggest reasons why I don't want kids is because I don't want them to suffer in this world that is full of so much suffering. I mean, there's happiness, there's joy too, but there's maybe even just as much suffering, if not more. You know what I mean? I don't think we could ever accurately calculate the balance of suffering versus joy, but it's a lot of it. Goddamn. I experienced some of it myself. And I just find it interesting because it seems like people try to get on your case when you don't want kids, and you know, and really the funny thing about it, the reasons for having kids that are brought up the most are really kind of selfish. Like, you're going to be alone. What about when you're dying or on your deathbed and you don't have, you know, it's not the ending of BioShock, right? But to me, that sounds kind of selfish, because then it's like, it's about me, mine, that type of man. I need to be comfortable on my deathbed, so I'm bringing you into this crazy ass world, right? Selfish. And me is like, hey, you know what, man? I'm gonna look out. Look, stay where you at in the void. Look. I know I'm smiling, but it's bad. It's bad. I got lucky, nigga. I got real lucky. Like, you look, just give me a couple years to figure some shit out, right? Let me figure some stuff out, and I think about it. But you look, stay where you at. Believe me, it's bad. Oh, man. God damn, I love this woman, bro. I swear. Okay, so here she says, both men and women only stand to gain by having children. Otherwise, they would not produce them. Man's advantage lies in the fact that he appears to lead a more meaningful life and that he is able to become a slave forever. Composure. And women has all the other advantages. These must be considerable, for any female today has the choice between a professional life or having children, and nearly all of them choose children. So this is another statement that kind of dates this book a bit. How she talks about, like, because again, she's from the 70s, right? This book was written in the 70s. And, you know, feminism was already in full swing by that point, I believe. But from the picture that she is painting is like, okay, by this point, you could choose to be a professional woman, but it seems like it was still the choice of the minority. Whereas now, I believe you see a lot more women trying to get educated and going to college. Like, I believe the statistics show that there are more women going and graduating from college than men nowadays. And so that tells you a lot. So I think that, you know, that's a statement that, again, I'm not saying maybe it's not so much that she's wrong, but this just might be something where it's a different time. I think during her era, it was some of the like kind of a maybe a transitional period of feminism, like where it ain't quite go full Super Saiyan quite yet. You know, it was still leveling up. But now you definitely see a lot more women choosing careers over children, at least for a while. Like, okay, I gotta study, you know, I mean, you look at I mean, just for example, I believe, was it Serena Williams, who she delayed having kids for a long time so she could focus on, you know, being the best tennis player that she could be, because she knew having a baby was going to fuck up her athleticism. And I believe after she had her baby and came back, she ended up getting defeated by Naomi Osaka, the cutest ugly girl in the world. I mean, no offense, I would marry a girl like that. Not really, but damn. I love Naomi. What was I talking about? Okay, so let's move on. This may suggest that women decide in favor of a home and family simply because they love children. But women are not capable of the unconditional love a child should have. This can easily be proved. Women only care for their own children, never those of others. A woman will accept a child who is not her flesh and blood only when she is physically incapable of having her own, and this only after everything has been tried, including artificial insemination by an unknown donor. And this, I think I touched on this a bit when I was talking about the whole paternity fraud thing, and, you know, people try to guilt trip men into taking care of other people's kids, but then we don't really have that conversation on the other side. You know, how many women are willing to raise another man's kids or raise somebody else's kids? I mean, look, you'll see some shit like grandma raising the grandkids and stuff. I mean, that's common where I'm from. But I'm saying, like, you a woman. Now, really think about this shit. Now, a woman in her fucking prime get with a dude who already got 2 or 3 kids. Now, I'm not saying, oh, he got 2, 3 baby mamas and barely see the kids, you know, that shit. I'm saying he got the kids with him at his spot. and look, you can come in and start making babies. You don't see that a lot, bro. You simply just don't see that, you know. But at the same time, men are guilt tripped into putting ourselves in that situation. You know, she got damn 2, 3 kids by 2, 3. She got 2, 3 kids by 2, 3 different niggas. And you're the bad guy for saying you don't want to deal with that shit, you know. But here she says women are not capable of the unconditional love a child should have. And I don't really agree with that. I mean, okay, she does kind of address it. She says women only care for their own children, and I guess, yeah, that's kind of true. But I do believe in the strength of love that women have for their own children. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of neglect as well that people don't talk about, that I see a lot where I'm from. You know, what I see a lot of, you know, I live in a single mom area with a lot of single moms and whatnot. And what I noticed the most about a lot of these moms is like, they're good providers, but they're not good mothers. That's what I notice about them. They'll put food on the table, partially because of the government, EBT. You know, they'll put clothes on their back. They'll make sure their son got the freshest Jordans. Their girl got a nice hairdo and all that, so they don't get picked on in school. They'll do this and that. But I noticed they don't really, a lot of them, I don't want to say all, but a lot of them, they don't really do like the quality things, like the quality time. Like, okay, we're going to sit down and read a fucking book, right? I don't see that, you know, or yeah, I just, you know, I put my son or daughter in tutoring class or some type of extracurricular activity that's going to help them, you know, get ahead in life or something. I don't see that a lot. And I think that's really what I notice the most about, you know, the mothers in my community. It's sad, really. So here she says, to guarantee material security and allow a woman to seem helpless and incapable of earning a living, 2 or 3 children are necessary. This minimizes the risk of old age without children or grandchildren who prove their respect and love. Their gratitude to her for being such a good mother and grandmother. Besides, the children keep each other amused, leaving mother free for superior occupations, sewing, for example, or baking. Oh God. Man, I swear she dates herself sometimes. Sewing and baking. Look, I'm gonna go in right now because this shit, you know, look, man. I ain't trying to keep calling out single moms, but damn, y'all know what it is. But I gotta touch on this because she made a good point. Actually several good points. One, children are a guarantee of material security for a woman. And you see that a lot in like the black community. Let's just say no. But really, look, you can find this in the trailer parks with the essays, the Mexican, whatever, right? Anywhere where you got single motherhood, you see a lot of these points being proven, right? And I can speak from my area, my environment. I see a lot of girls. It's obvious that they get pregnant for the sake of getting benefits, child support, EBT, low income housing and shit like that. I mean, it's just, for some reason they look at a child like it's a Willy Wonka golden ticket or some shit. Like it's just, it's like, it's the ticket out of your mama house into the ghetto. And I don't, it's scary even thinking about it. It's almost sickening really thinking about it, to think that, because again, a lot of these girls, they do this shit on purpose. They know the game. But it's sad to think that they're so small-minded. Again, I'm talking from my environment. I see this a lot, right? This happens at a higher level, which I think she's probably referring to more so, like at a middle class level. But I'm talking about, you know, where I'm at. And but it's definitely true. A lot of women, they have a baby just for the sake of the security. And now it's not even like, well, I got the baby, I can keep the man. It's like, I got the baby, I can put the man on child support type shit. You know, if I ain't got the man, I can get EBT. I got the man, the government, right? But another good point, the children keep each other amused, leaving mother free for superior occupations, sewing or baking. That's another thing that I see though. It's like what I've seen these girls, they'll have a kid, and once the kid get around 10, they'll have another kid, and then the 10-year-old end up being the babysitter for the one. I see that too. And then they do that just like she said, so she can be free for her superior occupations. But it ain't no sewing or baking. It's clubbing, getting high type shit. Like, just for example, I know a girl, just the exact same scenario I just laid out. Had a kid, about 10, 11 years later, had another one. And now the older one is basically the babysitter for the younger one. And I remember it used to be like, okay, the first child used to be able to just kind of spend the night here, go to her daddy house, go to grandma's, just stuff like that. But now that the new baby, now that there's a second child who's an infant, the mother uses the older child as the babysitter and gets upset when she tries to go with to spend the night at a friend's house or go to her daddy house or her grandma's house or something. That's what I see shit like that, like really get upset. Like it used to not be a problem when she was the only child, because it was like, all right, well, if she want to go, then I ain't got to deal with her. But now that she got that second child, it's like, okay, I'm using my first child as a babysitter, so she need to stay home so I can do what the fuck I want to do. Like, bro, it's sick. It's sick. It's sickening. I'm not even like, that's the type of shit that I see, bro. And this shit, it is some, I'm telling you, some demonic evil. It's sick, bro. I mean, it makes me sick to the fucking stomach, even saying this shit. Cause this is the type of shit that I see in my environment, bro. Like, that's why, again, like, some of her points are a little off base, but a lot of it is so on point, man. It's crazy. So she says her maternal care consists of locking the children in a room together and coming in only when one of them gets hurt and screams loud enough to summon her. And look, I'm gonna keep it apart, bro. Like, that was my upbringing. Like, I love my mama, but she did the same shit. I ain't even gonna lie. My mom did this. My mom did a lot of the same shit. Where it was just like, give them some toys. As long as they together, they'll be all right. That sort of thing. And a lot of it was just that she was working. My mom was a hard worker. Don't get it twisted. But again, there is a degree of responsibility there when you allow yourself to be in that situation in the first place because of your poor mate selection. Because that's really what it comes down to 90% of the time. But I went through the same shit. So, I mean, she's spot on. That's what a lot of these women do. They have multiple kids and then it's like, well, I can just put them together in a room somewhere and then I ain't gotta worry about it. I'll wait till somebody starts screaming and then I'm gonna go whoop somebody. That was pretty much how I was raised. I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, look, I'll give my mom some credit. Like, she did do some things, like took us to like church and Bible study and shit like that. I mean, she wasn't just absolutely sickening like some other women I know. But she definitely had some of these traits, right? She definitely had some of these traits. Might have me in Bible study. All right, so, oh God, more harshness. She says, women's stupidity is so overwhelming that anyone who comes into contact with it will become, in a way, infected by it. That this is not obvious is solely because everybody has been exposed to it from birth, and as a result, has become injured to it. No, my bad, inured to it. I don't know what that means. In previous years, men either ignored it or believed it to be a typically feminine characteristic which harmed no one. But with the increase in leisure and money to spend, women's need for entertainment has grown. Consequently, her imbecility, I hope I said that right so I don't seem like the imbecile, is spreading into public life as well. Reflected not just in vases, bedroom pictures, brocade curtains, cocktail parties, and Sunday sermons. The mass media have become more involved in it. women's programs are gaining ground in radio and television, and even respectable newspapers print society gossip, crime features, and fashion news, horoscopes, and cooking recipes. And women's magazines become every day more numerous and sumptuous to the stands. Step by step, not only the private sphere of men, but all of public life has become infected by this stupidity. So this kind of makes you think of, in a modern sense, things like reality television and shit, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Desperate Housewives, and Love and Hip Hop. I mean, just all the, and look, I'm not judging, because I like my garbage media too. Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I've watched some of the worst anime on the planet. I'm not throwing shade here, but I think that she's making a point. But again, this isn't a girl's bad thing. I think this is something that's really something that's affecting men and women. You know, just consuming garbage media and time wasting escapism. You know, this is something that can apply to both sexes. But it's definitely relevant, because if you're a man who's very busy and you get with a girl and you don't have the control, you don't have the understanding of game, she can put you in a position where you waste a lot of time. You know, like, oh, let's lay up all day and eat cookies and watch reality television. Like, you got to be careful with shit like that. So you can go off and play Red Dead, Red Dead Redemption 2 for goddamn 10 hours a day. Okay, so here she says, today, there are few men who wear a mask. Those who do, poets, painters, rock musicians, journalists, actors, hippies, photographers, need just this sort of disguise in order to earn their money, rather as a kind of contemporary court gesture. Of course, most of these men have a woman around, someone to put his earnings to immediate use. A poet has his muse, a painter his model, a rock musician his groupie. All of these women live off men. If all men took to growing their hair long or to wearing chains with pendants around their necks, which after all is possible for every 100 years or so there have been slight changes in men's fashions due to changed working conditions, their long hair would be cut to a uniform length, and those chains around their necks would become a replacement for ties, just as discreet and inconspicuous. So this is another good point, and here she's talking about basically the groupie, right? She's talking about the artist, the musician, the actors, the hippies, and how they tend to attract women. And what you always see is, like she says, they always have a woman around, someone to put their earnings to immediate use, especially these goddamn athletes, man. I swear, you know, there's the, let me get a sip of water real quick. You know, there's a situation kind of floating around the manosphere right now. Everyone's talking about, I think it's a basketball player named PJ Washington. He got caught up with some girl who basically trapped him with a baby, and now he got to give her $200,000 a month in child support and shit. I mean, it was a slam dunk. You know, Coach Greg Adams would call it a praying mantis, a classic praying mantis situation. But again, just prime example of how, you know, when you break it down, a lot of times your success with women really comes down to the resources that they know they can get out of you, you know. And I think that the problem with a lot of, and really it's interesting because I don't know if you guys know him, but Low Tier God, he's the guy who does like the fighting game stuff and whatnot. But he talked about this in the EDP video about how guys fall for the smoke and mirrors. You know, they get a little fame, they get that blue check mark, and they start thinking girls like them for them, not realizing that, you know, they really just like that image, that character. And a lot of it just has to do with the fact that they know that, okay, you're balling, you know, and they want to attach themselves to that. And so it's not just the guy in a suit and tie who has to worry about gold diggers. It's the athletes and the musicians as well, because women are going to attach themselves to guys like this for the express purpose of draining them of their material wealth. And getting big dick thug nigga says, if you that type of guy. Okay, so here she says, when a man works, it is a matter of life and death. And as a rule, the first years of his life are decisive. Any man of 25 who is not well on his way up the ladder can be considered, to all intents and purposes, a hopeless case. At this stage, all his faculties are being developed, and the fight with his competitors is a fight to the death. Behind a mask of business friendship, he is constantly on the watch for any sign of superiority in one of his associates, and he will note its appearance with anxiety. If this same associate shows signs of weakness or indecision, it must be taken advantage of at once. Yet, man is only a tiny cog in a gigantic business machine, he himself being in effect exploited at every turn. When he drives others, he drives himself most of all. His orders are really orders from above, passed on by him. If the men at the top occasionally take time to praise him, it is not in order to make him happy. It is only to spur him on, to stimulate him. This dramatic reading. To stimulate him into greater effort. For man who was brought up to be proud and honorable, every working day is merely an endless series of humiliations. He shows enthusiasm for products he finds useless. He laughs at jokes he finds tasteless. He expresses opinions which are not his own. Not for a moment is he allowed to forget that the merest oversight may mean demotion, that one slip of the tongue may spell the end of his career. Oh God. Now, basically she was saying wage slavery. That's really what she was talking about. How men, for the most part, you got to get a career or a job, and that becomes something that confines and puts restraints on you as far as how you can express yourself and how you got to operate in the world, and I got me a little job now, and it's some simple shit. I don't really experience a lot of this, but it's to some degree, you got to have a bit of a mask on, like when I go to work, I'm not Chad Marco, I'm not even Emmanuel. I'm just there to fucking work, and I'm not there expressing myself, talking about, again, every now and then it'll slip because I'm not trying to be fake either, but I'm just there to work. I'm not there to make friends, but luckily I have like a nice little simple job. But when you're talking about somebody who's working like 6 days a week, 8 hours a day, and you're constantly dealing with people, oh God, that's what she's talking about. Oh man, but yeah, she's basically just calling out the drudgery and suffering of wage slavery that men are pretty much forced into. So here she says, none of these battles exist for women. Following up, if she breaks off her studies and marries a university lecturer, she has achieved the same level as he has without exerting herself. As the wife of a factory owner, she is treated with greater respect than he is, and not as somebody who at best would be employable on the assembly line in the same factory. As a wife, she always has the same standard of living and social prestige and has to do nothing to maintain them as he does. For this reason, the quickest way to succeed is always to marry a successful man. She does not win him by her industry, ambition, or perseverance, but simply through an attractive appearance. Straight facts. Straight facts. Oh God, like that was a potent red pill right there. That was potent. That was extra strength. That shit right there, you don't get that over the counter, bro. You got to go to the doctor to get that one prescribed. That was pure red pill right there. God damn. You know what that makes me think of too? What you said? As the wife of a factory owner, she is treated with greater respect than he is. As a wife, she always has the same standard of living and social prestige. It has to do nothing to maintain it as he does. You know who that makes me think of? And I'm not throwing no shade. She seems like a great woman, but it's a perfect example. And you simply cannot disagree. But the basketball player Stephen Curry and his wife Aisha Curry, that is the perfect example of what she is talking about. how his wife, who would otherwise be a complete nobody, has been elevated to a certain level because of Stephen Curry's fame. You know, her position as his wife and as a mother, and how she tries to be involved in doing different things. I'm not exactly sure what she does, but she does shit. I know she got a cookbook or something. But I see her on the cover of magazines and all that. She ain't shot not one ball. She ain't hit none of them damn threes. But Aisha Curry has a decent amount of fame. And it came from being married to Stephen Curry. And you can see several examples of this where, you know, women were able to reach a certain level of fame or be put in certain positions because of the men that they're married to. But again, she's the poster child of that, if you ask me. Like, she would be completely irrelevant without him. But again, I'm not throwing shade. It's just, it is what it is. And it's just like how, when you look at how, most female millionaires, like the richest women got rich divorcing men, married. Like, it's that same sort of thing where women get most of their money marrying men. They get most of their status not marrying men and then divorcing them and taking half. Like, that's, you know, it is what it is. Just like she says, for this reason, the quickest way to succeed is always to marry a successful man. That's why women want that ring. She does not win him by her industry, ambition, or perseverance, but simply through an attractive appearance. It is what it is. That shit, that's potent. That's, boy, you ain't getting that one from the family doctor. Like, I can't do it to you. All right, so here we go. So here she says, there are, however, women who still have jobs or careers at the age of 25 or older. There are a variety of reasons for this. A, the woman is married to a failure. He is not making enough money to provide her with all the useless rubbish she cannot do without. B, the woman cannot have children. Once the man's passion for her has been spent, he can see no good reason for continuing to support her. C, the woman is ugly. Excuse me. D, the woman is emancipated. E, the woman is interested in a particular career, and from the start, she renounces her own slaves and her own children. Types A and B are closely related. It is the next two groups which are important, for an ugly woman is often considered to be emancipated, and this is false. The chance of meeting someone in the last category, a woman who renounces comfort and serves for intellectual reasons, let alone from a sense of what is fair, is rare indeed. Let us consider the ugly woman. A woman is ugly when she is unattractive to men. That sounds kind of redundant. That is, when her secondary sexual characteristics are underdeveloped or insufficiently advertised. And because there is an absence in her features of a baby look, a woman of this type works for the same reason as a man, because there is no one else to do it for her. Yet, whereas man keeps a wife and children with his income, she works for herself alone. She would never use the money she earns to finance the life of a beautiful young man. Now, I agree with most of this except the last part. But it's interesting what how she kind of breaks women down into these categories, right? Like what leads a woman to working basically like a man, you know? And the first one, you know, she's married to a failure. that happens a lot, right? This is why women don't want to build with a man, but find a man who's already built it. But the most interesting one is, of course, the woman who is ugly, right? Cause you got women nowadays who are like, I'm an incel, I'm a femcel, and of course we shoot that down with laser beam, 100% pinpoint accuracy. I swear we shoot that shit down with aim assist on. We don't play that game at all. Like, get the fuck out of here. But she brings up a good point though. Look, now I'm a firm believer that women can't be incels, robots, none of that shit. They can't be none of that. But definitely less attractive women are at a disadvantage. That's true. You know, now I wouldn't say a ugly woman is on the same level as a man. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that because, dude, ugly women. You remember ugly. You remember earlier during the Chris Chan segment, I was talking about that girl who maybe manipulated him into fucking his mom. I never thought I'd say that in real life. But look, this bitch got foot fungus. She got acne like a ghoul from Fallout and has proven herself to be a narcissistic, manipulative, sociopathic bitch. Yeah, I'm looking at the thread and these dudes talking about wifing her up and I boobas. I want to suck them boobas. I'm playing. Oh man, I bet her under boob sweat just is rancid, but I digress. But I mean, she's more gross than ugly. If she didn't have all that grossness, she would actually be mildly attractive. But the point is, even when a girl isn't that attractive, even when she's gross, she has a lot of options. Like even that Chris Chan foot fungus girl would have way more options than even an average dude. So, I'm not in agreement with the idea that an ugly woman is on par with an average man or no. No. But they are certainly on a whole different level from a pretty girl. Like if I had to simplify it, right? Let's simplify this shit, right? And I'm gonna use Dragon Ball Z as a measuring tool because Dragon Ball Z is always relevant, right? And let's look at female attractiveness, a female attractive privilege in terms of power level, right? And let's throw men in there as well. Like the average man is Hercule or Mr. Satan. The average man is Hercule or Mr. Satan in terms of like power level. In the dating market, that's the average man. An ugly woman is like Krillin. An ugly woman is Krillin, right? The weakest Z fighter, other than like Chaozu or something, but still the goddamn strongest man on earth, right? A decent looking woman is like, I'm saying like a 4 of like a 5, right? 5, 6. It's like Gohan. it's like Gohan. Like Dragon Ball Super Android 17. You know, he was lit in Dragon Ball Super. Like he was up there. Frieza, like that's a decent looking woman. A hot chick, the 8, 9s, and 10s, Vegeta, Goku, that's the power level gaps right there, man. That and even a decent looking woman is at least like a Gohan power level on the day, like very strong. Could damn near do the whole thing if they were focused, right? Could beat everybody. But just not, you know, not on that same level as like Vegeta and Goku in terms of consistency. But damn, right? But yeah, that's kind of how I put it. Like, ugly woman, it definitely is like a Krillin compared to the pretty girls, which are like Vegetas and Gokus and shit, right? but still way better than being the average dude, which is like Hercule. You straight lying and struggling and faking, trying to get some ass. Oh God. But look at what she said here. Now this is what I definitely don't agree on. Man keeps a wife and children with his income. She works for herself alone. Yet, whereas man keeps a wife and children with his income, she works for herself alone. She would never use the money she earns to finance the life of a beautiful young man. Now, that's obviously false. But I think the way, I'm kind of assuming here, I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I think the way she was presenting it was like a woman isn't about to say, okay, I'm 30 years old. I'm a lawyer. I'm going to get a broke nigga. I'm going to get a broke 20-year-old who's hot. And I'm going to take him under my wing. I'm going to bring him into my home and I'm paying the bills. He just going to be my dick on demand and he going to raise. Yeah, if that's what she's talking about, that you will not see that. You're not gonna see that a lot. Where an older woman is just gonna straight or not even older, but like ugly, whatever, right? Like just this is my dick on demand guy, and he ain't got you. You're not gonna see that a lot. You're not gonna see that a lot, right? At some point, they're gonna expect you to hold up some level of paying bills and shit. But there is certainly women out there who are basically tricking. You got female tricks too. You got like you hear about like female sex tourism. Like you got these white women, these older white women. They go to like Jamaica. Or I don't know Africa, but you know they go somewhere where like you got these young, hot, virile black studs, these bucks, and they go there, you know, slide them a couple dollars. They, you know, they get that big dick thug nigga sex experience. They go ahead and get that going, and that's real. In fact, my mom, she knows a guy. He's basically like a gigolo. Like his whole thing is he fuck with like fat older women and shit. And he a gigolo, and the thing about it, he's from like Haiti or something, like one of them like all like Jamaica, Africa or something like that. And like he's a buck type dude, like buff, muscular, just stays in the gym. And his hustle is pretty much just being, hey, I'm a sexy black man and I fuck with older fat women who basically pay me, you know, like he's a male sugar baby, basically a gigolo, you know. But my mom said something interesting once. Like she said she was talking to him and he said that he don't like messing with these young pretty girls because they want too much or some shit like that. But that tells you his mentality and how he operates, because he can't do what he's doing with these ugly fat gorilla bitches. He can't do that with a young attractive woman, because young attractive women, they ain't gotta pay for dick. They got dick on demand. It's only these ugly gorilla type, like every now and then you'll see an exception, but for the most part, you're not gonna see a legitimately pretty girl, an attractive woman pay for dick. You're not gonna see that. Dick pays for her. But ugly girl, I'm telling you, ugly girls, older women, fat women, they do that. They do that shit. Believe me, they do that shit. I think the only difference is that it's not going to be a situation where it's like, okay, I got all my shit together. I'm going to just take you in and just take care of everything. You not, nah. Very rare. It'll be like, okay, just a little bit of, they'll do it in such a way where it's like, almost like he a side dude. Right. And sometimes they might even want him to like stay and be like a main dude and shit. But even then, it just wouldn't work out, because that whole dynamic of her giving him money, it wouldn't last long term. It just wouldn't last. If he put a ring on it, at some point, she's going to expect him to hold up that masculine end of the bargain. That's why shit like that just wouldn't work out. So here she says, the American man knows happiness comes only through women, and women are expensive. He is ready to pay that price. As a young adult, he pays in advance. As a grown up, he pays in installments. And as a corpse, he is cashed in for a fortune. A man, oh my bad, I bumped the table. Still, stop bumping the table. House party reference. A man from another country realizes this as soon as he sees a flourishing divorce paradise like Reno, or the thousands of his fellow men sitting in jail for overdue alimony payments. On the other hand, the American man views this as confirmation of his superiority. Is he not the privileged one, as he has enough money to pay for it all? And so here is just another just blatant red pill that she's throwing out. A young adult pays in advance. As a grown up, he pays in installments. And as a corpse, he is cashed in for a fortune. The American man knows happiness comes only through women, and women are expensive. Now, I don't think she's not saying that literally, like happiness only comes through women, but I think she's saying that that's the mentality of men, especially in America. That's how we're programmed. That's how we think, and we look at all these guys who are like, woe is me, I don't have a girlfriend. It definitely proves this point. A lot of guys think like that, like life just isn't worth living without women, so I have to pay the price, And, this is one of the reasons why I can't get excited about relationships anymore. I wouldn't mind, I would like to have that experience, obviously, but understanding just how relationships are just this transactional thing, it makes it way more unappealing now that I understand that, and she breaks it down. You pay for it up front, you pay for it in installments. Doesn't matter. You're gonna pay for it. For the most part, women are expensive, and the whole process, the whole courtship process is setting you up to pay for her pussy. I talked about this because I saw something that kind of proved my point on the Fresh and Fit podcast, where they were talking to this girl and talking about, who should pay for the date. And she was like, I got my own money, I can pay for the date. He was like, well, do you pay for the dates in real life? Like, actually? And she's like, no, because guys ask me out. And right there, you have it. And so, again, the whole thing, all right, I'll pay for it because I got my own money, but I don't pay for it because guys ask me out, and you ask me out, you should pay for it. That goes back to, okay, it's a man's job. So everything is designed to set you up to pay, right? She can say, I'll pay for the date, I got my own money. But the fact is, she's always going to use the fact that you asked her out against you. Again, no accountability. And so right from the beginning, and I think I posted this on Twitter, asking girls out is just signing up to pay for sex. That's what it is. The first dates, for most guys, right? You do have the Chad effect, the Tyrone effect, right? The Rico Suave effect. Gotta throw the Latino bros in there too. You got that effect where they can just slide in. They show up with a damn swisher and some basketball shorts, beat it down. But for the average, again, for the average date, what's actually going on is that it's an interview. It's an interview process where she's setting the tone that you pay for my pussy. You paid for the date. I mean, you asked me out. You did the work. You paid for the date. You invested. You're paying for my pussy. That's what most relationships are. If you break it down, if you take off the rose-tinted glasses and put the romance and the Netflix and chill to the side, you see it for what it actually is. You're signing up to pay for sex. Okay, so here she says, a man who marries and becomes a father turns into an even more reliable employee. If the applicant is already married, then the employer's choice is even easier. since he knows that the man's paycheck will almost certainly support more than one person, hence be twice as necessary. So this makes me think, you'll see people say things like getting married will help your career. Things like I've heard that. And this kind of points out why that's true. Because just like she says, a man who is married and a father is a more reliable employee. Why? Because I don't want to say he's a slave. She would say that. I would subconsciously agree. No, I'm playing. But seriously, when you're married and you have kids, you're tied down. You have responsibilities. You have obligations. And so just like she says, the employer's choice becomes easier because he knows that your paycheck is to support more than one person, your family. And so it's twice as necessary. So you're less likely to just up and leave like, well, now, I worked for you for 2 years. Now I'm going across the country to Arizona. Like, you're less likely to do that because you depend on that money. Now, of course, you could find another job opportunity or something and relocate, right? But in general, when you're signing up for a big boy job, a career, your goal is to work your way up over the years. And when you have a family, it's like you can't afford to just say, all right, we're gonna switch gears. we're gonna switch gears here. I'm gonna try to be a author, a novelist. So everybody get ready for the downgrade. Like, no, it's not gonna happen. You're locked in at that point, I think it was Dane Cook. Maybe it was Dane Cook. It was a comedian. He said, as a man, you're always free to do whatever you want or some shit like that. Like I forgot exactly how he said it, but it was like, as a man, you can always just pack a bag and go do whatever until you get married and have kids. And again, it's just like what she's saying though. It's like, once you have kids, you're kind of locked in. If you're serious about it and you're not a fucking scrub, a deadbeat, is like you no longer have that freedom to just say, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that now. Okay, never mind, I'm doing this. No, you got to be locked in. Like, okay, we got a big ass house, we got a mortgage, we got 3 kids. I can't afford to go back to the hood. I can't go back to the hood. I'm locked in. It's 9 to 5 for 40 more years. Ain't no way I'm going back to the hood. I got 3 kids. I got a wife. She want this. She want that. 1 kid sick, and it just can't happen. But again, that's one of the reasons why I don't want to get married. Why I don't want to have kids, because I'd rather have that freedom than anything else. That freedom to just say, okay, fuck it. I guess I'll become a farmer now. Like, I could literally just say tomorrow, okay, I guess I'll be a farmer. Let me get this whole farming thing started. You know what? Yeah, I wanna work at a zoo. Whatever, I mean, of course you got to go through the process, but I'm just saying. Hold up. Is this the one? All right, this is the last one, and this is the last chapter of the book. This is the long one, but this is what I really wanted to say. This is it. This is the final stretch. It's beautiful. Everyone listen. Because this is what it's all about. Man has been manipulated by women to the point where he cannot live without her and therefore would do anything she asks of him. He fights for his life and calls it love. There are even men who would threaten their idolized female with suicide unless she accepts him. Not that this is much of a risk for them. They have nothing to lose. Women nonetheless is incapable of living without a man. Like a queen bee, she cannot survive on her own. She too is fighting for her life, and she too calls it love. They each need one another. In fact, and it seems therefore that they share at least one sentiment. The cause, nature, and consequences of the sentiment, however, differ as much as due to sexes. To a woman, love means power. To a man, enslavement. Love provides women with an excuse for financial exploitation. Man with an emotionally charged excuse. For the sake of love, women would do things that are of advantage only to herself, while man does only those things that will harm him. When a woman marries, she gives up her career for the sake of love. When a man marries, he would have to work for two for the sake of love. For both sexes, love is a fight for survival, but the one survives only by being victorious, the other only by being defeated. It is a paradox that women can also make their greatest gains during moments of utter passivity, and that the awkward page flip, and that the word love endows them with a halo of selflessness, even at the moment of their most pitiless deception of men. As a result of love, man is able to hide his cowardly self-deception behind a smokescreen of sentiment. He is able to make himself believe that his senseless enslavement to women and her hostages is more than an act of honor. It has a higher purpose. He is entirely happy in his role as a slave and has arrived at the goal he has so long desired. Since women gains nothing but one advantage after another from the situation as it stands today, things will never change. The system forces her to be corrupt, but no one is going to worry about that. Since one can expect nothing from a woman but love, it will remain the currency for any needs she might have. Man, her slave, will continue to use his energies only according to his conditioning and never to his own advantage. He will achieve greater goals, and the more he achieves, the farther women will become alienated from him. The more he tries to ingratiate himself with her, the more demanding she will become. The more he desires her, the less she finds him desirable. The more comforts he provides for her, the more indolent, stupid, and inhuman she will become, and man will grow lonelier as a result. Only women can break the vicious circle of man's manipulation and exploitation, but she would not do it. There is absolutely no compelling reason why she should. It is useless to appeal to her feelings, for she is callous and knows no pity. And so the world will go on, sinking deeper and deeper into this morass of kitsch, barbarism, and inanity called femininity. And man, that wonderful dreamer, would never awaken from his dream. Book drop. But I want to say something. I disagree with that final point because I have woken up. I'm going to toot my horn for a couple seconds, right? Because I woke the fuck up and said no. I went my own way. I saw the bullshit. I chose freedom. I like the game Catherine. I'm sure you guys know about Catherine, but I swear that true ending resonates with me so much. When Vincent says, fuck Catherine, fuck the trap too, I'm going to space. That's me. That's me. I said, fuck all that bullshit. I'm going to space. I'm going my own way. I'm doing me. I choose freedom. And not just myself, but you see more and more men waking up and choosing freedom over enslavement to women in exchange for sexual intercourse, for feminine energy. So many more men now are choosing freedom. And again, I get her whole point of ending the book that way. You know, they would never awaken from their dream. It probably looked that bad back in 1971. But now, 50 years later, you can see men are finally realizing all this shit. You know, if you followed me from page 1 to the end of that book, you know a lot of what she was saying is very relevant now. You can see a lot of these points that she's making in all of these red pill channels, AMS, Fresh and Fit, Anthony Spade, Coach Greg Adams, Kevin Samuels, goddamn Aaron Clary, all these motherfuckers, bruh. More and more men are waking up to this shit, and they're not just waking up; they're changing course. They're going their own way. I mean, the MGTOW in of itself is evidence that it's happening. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know. Like how many men are going to say fuck it and go their own way, so to speak. But it is nice to see that, you know, reading that last portion of that book, because it's so, that last chapter just is short but sweet. It's sweeter than honey, and it's to the point. And the way she ends it, you know, like, oh God, God damn it. That wonderful dreamer would never awaken from his dream. I mean, God damn it, dude. It's beautiful, but it's so nice to see that primarily because of the internet, so many more men are realizing this. And I was thinking, man. I made a post on Twitter, and it might have seemed like I said this in jest, but I mean it 100%. And I said, I don't trust women on principle. I don't trust women on principle. Because I know whenever you talk about MGTOW, whenever you talk about red pill and all this shit, you always got people who say, well, my relationship is this, and my marriage and this, and I know that, and I know this couple, and this married, they were married for 120 years. You got that. And congratulations. And I mean that with 100% sincerity. I'm glad it worked out for you. I'm glad it worked out for them. But what about all the motherfuckers it didn't work out for? And you know, so I look at it and I say, okay, well, you do have healthy, productive, normal relationships. All women aren't bad. In fact, most of the women she described in the book aren't even bad. The problem isn't that really women are bad. It's just that by their very nature, they demand so much of a man that it restrains us. And so even a lot of these guys who would say, well, I'm happy in my relationship, I'm happy in my marriage. The fact is they have a lot of restrictions. You know, they don't have the same freedoms as a single guy, as a bachelor. And maybe they don't want that. I'm not saying that to insult them at all. Maybe because maybe they like it better to not have that freedom. Maybe they like having those responsibilities, those obligations. Me, I don't want it. A lot of other guys, they don't want it either. You know? And I look at it, and again, even on the other side of that coin, you got the toxic relationships, the bad relationships. Look, I've seen way too many men, just straight up, I've seen way too many men have their lives ruined by women. If not ruined, then greatly inhibited, thrown off course, distracted, tossed off the tracks. So much drama, stress, bullshit. Why? Because of women. Because of dealing with women. Having children. Getting married. Having sex. I've seen it way too much. Way too much. And I'm just letting it be known, I'm not going out like that. I'm not going out like that. I have no hate for women. I understand and believe that there are healthy, beautiful relationships out there. But I'm not putting my faith in love. I'm not that kind of love. I'm not putting my faith in women, sex, love, none of that. I'm not putting my faith in that shit. I'm putting my faith in myself because I love myself and I appreciate my life. And see, like I said, I don't trust women on principle. And it really is, it's sad. It's sad that that's how it is, that it's gotten to the point where women can't trust men and men can't trust women and everybody worrying about being manipulated. And you can't just be. Right? It's got to be this fucking game where everybody, okay, I gotta not care. And if I do care, my life, I get screwed over. She take my kids and my daughter is in the house with a game. It's fucked up, bro. Like that's what it is. If I just go out there and say, well, fuck it, I'll take the risk. I'm with a girl. It's okay, 4 years. We got a daughter. Boom, we break up. Goddamn. All right, my daughter with her. She dating a blood crip nigga, and my daughter is. That's the type of shit that's going on now. The consequences are just too fucking great. And like I said, I'm not going out like that. And what I want people to understand about this MGTOW shit, this red pill shit, don't get it twisted. It's not about hating women. Now look, it's always bad apples. Some of these niggas just hate, man, they go, look, it be like that. But I'm saying that the idea, the ideology, or at least what it means for me, right? For me, it's not about hating women at all. It's about loving myself and appreciating my own life. And I've come from the bottom mentally. I hated my life so much, I wanted to kill my fucking self. I had the helium tank under the bed, right? And now, man, even on my worst days, I treasure every day so much. Like I somehow I fought and clawed my way to being able to appreciate and love my life. And so I do certain things and avoid certain things that could jeopardize that. I ain't out here smoking cigarettes and doing all kind of drugs and shit. I'm eating better. I'm working out more. I'm reading books. I'm being careful. You know, I'm buying me a gun. So if somebody running from my shit, I'm taking their life. I'm not losing mine. I appreciate my life. So I'm trying my best to clean and make the most of this opportunity that I have, because I realize the value of it. And unfortunately, women are one of the, it's not women, but it's because you could say this from either side of the fence. For women, it could be men. For men, it could be, but sex and relationships, period, is just one of the most destructive forces in the world right now. And it's unfortunate because it's supposed to be one of the most beautiful, that brings us together, that allows us to create families and strengthen our communities and set up the next generation to take over. But shit is so fucked up right now. It's like you can't put your faith in it anymore. I mean, you can, but I'm gonna sit back and watch. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I don't need to do it. I don't need to do it. I'm betting on myself. I'm taking full responsibility for my own happiness. Right? And that's how I like it. And that's how I'm rolling. So when I say I don't trust women on principle, to me, it's no different than wearing a seatbelt. Right? I wear a seatbelt because I appreciate my life. Now, look, my whole life, I ain't need a seatbelt not one time, but I put it on every goddamn time. Because if something do happen, a car do spin out of control, a crash does happen, I don't got it on, I'm flying out the window like Errol Spence. Shit. Just better hope I'm as lucky as he was. But most people out there, again, man. And so I look at people, and you break it down, bro. It's like you put on your seatbelt every goddamn time. How many times you needed it? Never, probably, but you still gonna put it on. And yet you look at dating now and all these toxic women and toxic relationships. You got way more chance of running into one like a toxic woman than getting in a car accident or some other freak shit. But you don't take the proper precautions. You just throw caution to the wind. Well, love, romance, my feelings, you just fuck everything. And again, bro, like if that's what you really kind of understand, for some guys that they just gotta have a family, and I get that, and honestly I feel for you, bro, because like that requires so much sacrifice and investment, and with the state of the world, man, it can be tough to make that shit work. You know, like it's just like they say, everything is good until it's not. That shit could work for like 10 years, then in the 11th one, it just all falls to pieces. Divorce, boom, family split, all kind of shit going on. So I say that with all due respect to the guys out there who choose an alternative path. You know, for the guys that chose Catherine or Ren, whatever. I say that with all due respect, but I'm going to space. I'm going to space. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that book review. Overall, man, like I said, man, it's a great book. To me, it resonates with me on a lot of levels because I feel like she really understands the freedom of being single, of being the freedom and the lightness of being single, the power of man when he's not hindered by his desire for the flesh. And I feel like she truly understands that. She gets that. And the fact that she comes from she's an author from so many years ago. You know, if we didn't know better, we would thought all this red pill shit came up out the 2000s. But she had this shit on lock pretty much back in the 70s. And that's what makes it so fascinating. Like, you know, it's never anything new under the sun. But, you know, sometimes it seems like it is. So overall, man, it was a great read. Now, I would say like the second half of the book wasn't as interesting as the first half. Like she goes in depth on like things like religion. She got, you know, it's certain parts of the book weren't that, you know, I didn't really care for. But overall, it was a good book, but mostly just because of the fact that it was from the perspective of a woman from a different era, a totally different era. Yet she was able to hit so many nails on the head as far as what men are dealing with now. And her understanding of the value of being a man and the freedom that we are capable of experiencing, but oftentimes give up because of our desire for women. And myself, going back to when I was a teenager, I saw these things. And every step of the way, I chose freedom. Like for me, it's freedom over everything. I'm not saying I can never be with a woman, but freedom always comes first. I'm never putting myself in a position where a woman can take my freedom or compromise my freedom. Any woman that's going to be compatible with me, I have to be free. I have to have I need my zone. And if I can't have that, we just can't be together. There's no hard feelings. But I choose freedom. You know, I choose true ending. I choose space. So next, we're going to have some OC. And then we are going to do some comments. Again, it's a long ass episode, so I'm not going to do a TOD. But I'm going to make up for that in the next episode. And the next episode is going to be nothing but TODs. It's going to be on 4chan Bonanza. I'm just going to take some awesome threads and I'm going to, you know, dive into them, have some fun there. So, but that's a little sneak peek for those who stay tuned. And so we're going to do some comments next. So thank you, Esther. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed that episode. And so now we're going to get into the comments. So here we go. So 360 No Scope Johnson says on the Mobile Suit Gundam Wing anime review, Chad, your anime reviews are honestly some of the best I've ever seen. More, please. Hey! I don't really know who to compare myself with. I'm sure my production values aren't great. But, I think I'm sort of critiquing myself as I'm writing this review, right? I'm going, and I'm trying to figure, okay, why did he like my shit? Because my anime reviews are so cheap. But I think really the value and one of the early criticisms I got from my anime reviews was that they're long as shit. But I think the plus side to that is I really go in depth as far as breaking down the different characters, and explaining exactly what I liked about it, what I didn't like. Just going into great detail. And I think that's what people would appreciate about my anime review. It's not like just this quick chicken nugget of this chicken nugget anime review that's like 10 minutes, like most YouTube videos. Like this, these shits go for about an hour. And so I'm really breaking this shit down, like character by character, and just major, all the major things without really spoiling anything. For the most part, I try to do that. I killed that shit with Trigun. But yeah, I think that's really what makes my shit so cool, is that I really go in. Like, this ain't a popcorn review. This shit is like, I'm really like, look, I'm really going in depth in terms of like what this shit is about. But thanks for that comment, man. So on the same video, Outlaw Otaku said, based and mech appeal. Will you do more reviews? Yes. I'd like to see your thoughts on the classic Great Teacher Onizuka. I have that on my hard drive. I started watching it, I watched like 4 or 5 episodes, but then I think this is when I bought a PS4. When I got my PS4, I started gaming more than watching anime, and that's why I haven't been doing a lot of anime reviews. But I've been wanting to get back into doing anime reviews. Tongue tied there. But yeah, I still got it on my hard drive. Since it's a request, I might go ahead and just throw that on the I might just go ahead and throw that into my rotation of things that I'm doing. Let me see. Yeah, ain't it like 50 episodes? Fuck it, let's do it. Shit, it probably won't be the next one, but it'll probably be it'll be the one after the next one, because I'm watching something right now. But what I'm watching now is what is it? City Cop Oedo or something? No, Cyber City something. And it's only like 3 episodes, so I'm gonna do that one first, and then I'll jump into Onizuka since I already got it. But thanks for that comment. So on Life is Neat, Coldfish Hat says, I remember a couple years ago being addicted to opiates, binging this song, watching Monogatari, and self-harming. Life's a little better now. Things can get a bit better. We don't need any more Shuabees. Hang in there, bros. Damn, that's fucked up. That's sad. It's kind of crazy to think that my music was the soundtrack to so much suffering. But shit. I mean, look, the reality is I ain't come from sunshine and rainbows. Like, a lot of the reason why I could make songs like that was because, that was my fucking lifestyle. I was in and out of depression, overindulging in bullshit. I think by the time I was making the songs, though, I was already kind of well on my way to repairing myself. And now I'm in like a totally different state of mind. So it's kind of trippy when I see people say shit like that. Like, oh, man, I'm just sitting here popping pills, cutting myself. Like, wow, I almost feel like a bad influence, because even when I made the song, I wasn't that bad. Like, I feel like I was over the line by that point, where I was still kind of in and out of depression, but I knew I was in it to win it, though. I knew like the whole kill myself shit was over. Now it was like, we fighting this. But thanks for that comment, man. Look, I encourage everybody, goddamn, man, if just, you gotta look at it like an anime fight. Right? You gotta look at it like an anime fight. You don't want this motherfucker to get his way, And really, the battle that I'm talking about is within yourself. You know, it's because a lot of life is just trying to control and deal with your own bullshit and your own shortcomings. That's the fight that really matters. That internal battle that goes on within us, and you almost gotta like separate that from yourself and really make it a goal to just fight that motherfucker. And that's how I be thinking. Like, I just every day, like I get up and I think I gotta fight this motherfucker. Like, not like, and cause I kind of took this idea from another guy, he's like a red pill, like a older like black red pill guy, and he made I think his name is like Ron Willis, and you know, he talks about women and shit, but he has a lot of like just general self-improvement videos for men. And one video that I like is how he talked about the internal struggle that we all go through within. And one thing he mentioned was like how he almost visualizes his demons and visualizes himself fighting his demons. And I think that's got to be your mentality in a way. You got to really identify what your demons are and face them head on. Like, what are your shortcomings? What are your weaknesses? Like, what aspects of yourself are getting in your way, and you have to beat the hell out of them motherfuckers. Like, and I visualize these niggas. I fight these motherfuckers. I'll tell you, man, like, you really, it's a fight, and the biggest fight is the fight that you have within yourself, man. But I just, you know, my advice is just, you gotta take that shit personally. You gotta stop looking outside of yourself at who did this to you, who don't like you, and you gotta go within. You gotta fight the demons inside of you, and I guarantee you, like, you overcome that shit, life's gonna get a lot better. But that's the fight that's really important. But thanks for that comment. So on the Nightwalk vlog, episode 10, it's not your job to approach women. Towering Horse 20 says, you're really spot on with that first part though. Engaging in the power dynamics of dating. It really is some 48 laws of power type shit. It's like a game of chess. Then he follows up. Asking them out first is like playing with a half deck of cards. It's not too many times they'll ask though. And most of the time, it's a red flag in my case. I'm an average Ugmo, so maybe it's different for a Chad. Oh, that's hilarious. Such as yourself. Not a Chad. I know the name, Chad Marco, man. But yeah, dude, it's chess. This shit is chess, bro. And that's why I be trying to break it down for guys, because I don't want you guys to fall into these little traps and shit. Because it's a lot of this shit is just in your mentality of how you deal with women and how you think about shit. You know, I'm not saying don't approach women, but understand what approaching women means. You know, I was watching Coach Greg Adams, one of his videos, and he talked about, and from his point of view, he said that cold approaching is low frequency type shit, like low vibration shit. And he was breaking it down like when you look at guys at a higher level, rich, wealthy guys, successful, they don't do a lot of that shit. They don't, it's more about strategic positioning. Like, you meet people casually, you get to know them, you vet them, you evaluate them, you feel, okay, she's doing this, she's doing that, he's with her. Like, that's how you play it at the higher level. It's chess. And you got to understand the dynamics of everything that you do when it comes to dealing with women, because it really is a game where if you put yourself in a bad position, then it's checkmate, right? And so you always got to be conscientious of where you are on the chessboard in relation to the women that you're dealing with. And when you have this mentality where it's my job to do this, you already about to get checkmate, because you already feel like it's your job to be subservient to. You already and even worse, you're underestimating her. Even worse, you're underestimating what she's she's too feminine to approach me, so I gotta be the macho man Randy Savage. You already fucked. You already about to get checkmate thinking like that. I'm not saying don't do it, But I'm saying, like, the way you think about it, your mentality has to be correct. I gotta be, she's too feminine and weak, I'm gonna go dominate. No. You playing right into her hands. Trust me. God damn. But at the same time, you know, like you said, it's not too many times they'll ask though. So you can't really rely on that. And a lot of times it's a red flag. You know, when I think about most of the times when girls took an obvious interest in me, one, they were not attractive. And after waiting a while, I could see like their toxicness. Like I could see their little like signs of toxic behavior on them. Like, you guys know I've been donating plasma, right? And I could be mistaken, right? But there was a girl that was working in the plasma place, and I felt like she was being kind of flirty. I'm not gonna lie, like when she put the blood pressure cup on my arm, she was talking about my muscles and shit. Every time I went in there, like, she was just be real, just overly friendly, you know, compared to everyone. Like, she was overly friendly. I was like, you know, like, look, with girls, you can't always know, right? Choosing signals can be vague. And this is not, I'm not shooting a shot at AMS, but look, alpha male strategies, he's the type of guy that would say, you bitch ass nigga, you knew it was a choosing signal. You just a pussy. You knew it was and you ain't go for it. Blah, blah, blah. Right? He would say some shit like that. And again, I'm not throwing shade, but you know that's how he is, right? But peep this, right? So okay, maybe she would choose and maybe she won't, right? Let's say she was. So of course I'm not looking for a girlfriend, so I'm not playing into that shit. So I'm going in there, I go there later, and I'm listening to her talk. And I'm figuring shit out. One, she got a kid. Single mom, already off the table. So right there, I would have wasted my goddamn time. Single mom, I don't fuck with single mom. I ain't fucking no single mom, bro. Two, I hear her talking about using men for money, finessing niggas. And so I'm like, okay, I could have been sitting here. Okay, I got the choosing signal. Time to make the masculine approach. And then I'm walking right into a fucking trap. But because I sat back and waited and listened and observed, again, high frequency, I realized, wait, I shouldn't even waste my goddamn time. Again, and so that's the, and I'm not saying this is what you should always do, because that can play against you too. Right? But I'm just saying, dude, like, you really got to think about what you're doing. You can't just be rushing out here talking to bitches. You don't know these fucking women. You don't know these. Bro, if I would have talked to her, I would have walked right into a trap. She got a kid. She talking about finessing niggas, using it. Bruh. Come on, dude. But I digress. Thanks for that comment. Don't get me started, bro. So, Rap Shout says 3 hours and 30 minutes. Bro almost became Majin Chad Marco thinking about becoming a beta provider. I gotta go back and listen to that. Oh man, I must have snapped a little bit then. I'm about to go 3:30. All right, I'm gonna remember that. I'm about to go. Sometimes I be snapping, man. I swear, don't, man. Some of this shit I get passionate about, bruh. Look, I ain't even talked about single moms yet, bruh. Like, wait for that episode. I'm a boy. Wait till I talk about single moms, gang culture, the black community. Dude, you gonna see a whole. Oh God, bro. I'm telling you, like, I'm fed up with this shit. But thanks for that comment, Rap Shout. So Friendship is Gangster says on the Nightwalk vlog, episode 10 video, how warped would you say your view on dating and relationships is from watching porn? I don't think it is very warped. Maybe, look, on a scale from 1 to 100, at the most 10%. At the most 10%. Right? I'm sick of these motherfuckers talking about porn ain't real life. Porn ain't this. Porn ain't that. Porn. Okay. Okay. You telling me these girls ain't out here sucking dick? You telling me these girls ain't out here getting trains ran on them? You telling me these girls ain't licking niggas' asses? You telling me these girls not hoes? You telling me these girls not getting fucked? They not getting big dick thug niggas set? You telling me that's not happening? What, dude? The aspects of pornography that are fake are obvious, right? Certain positions are just straight up nonsensical, right? That whole what the pile driver when you got the girl like you got like her legs or some shit over her head and you doing like, bullshit like that is for show, right? Certain things and like one guy in the pussy, the other guy in the ass. Okay, that's some bullshit. I hope it's some bullshit, but you know, the exaggeration of moaning that's the fake shit. The angles, the way the guy, he turned his body, like he fucked the pussy from the side so the camera can see his the fake parts are obvious. But what's fake about women being hoes, sucking dick, licking ass, fucking 5, 10, 15 different niggas over the course of like a short period of time? What's fake about it now? Look, tell me. What's fake about it? Where's the fake part? These bitches doing this shit. These bitches doing this shit. I remember, man, I was watching this video by this dude, man, and he said something similar. He was like, y'all would be surprised, bro. Y'all would be surprised. Porn is realer than you think. It's realer than you fucking think, bro. Like as far as girls being nasty ass hoes, that shit is real. What is porn except women being nasty ass fucking hoes? And you telling me women not nasty ass fucking hoes? I'm not judging. Be promiscuous, have fun. But come, like, where's the fake part? They're not sucking dick. They're not getting trains ran. They're not fucking with multiple men over a short period of time. White girls aren't fucking black dudes. Like, what's fake? Someone tell me. And I don't get this shit. And I think the thing people always go on is like, okay, the whole penis size thing, right? Maybe, look, you think size matters because you watch too much porn. No, I think size matters because I've heard multiple women in real life say that it matters. I heard my own mom on the phone shaming guys with little dicks. I grew up in school hearing girls say, oh, I like this guy because he have a big dick. I know niggas with big dicks who talk about having a big dick and giving girls big dick thug nigga sets and taking them from other niggas who got little dicks. Porn is just a part of it. Oh, God. Oh, man. But in all seriousness, like, dude, porn is realer than it is fake. I'm sure people are gonna go, oh no, bro. These bitches nasty. These niggas nasty. Period. People are fucking nasty. What's fake about it? Women like big dick thug nigga sex. A lot of women are hoes. Women are getting paid for sex. Niggas is nasty. Bitches is nasty. What's fake about it? Let me know. Send me an email. I'll check it out. Thanks for that comment, by the way. Friendship is Gangster also says on the same video, I got to get back into my calm mode. See, I went Majin Chat Marco then. That was Majin Chat Marco. Oh, man. Well, Friendship is Gangster says, approaching the altar to enter a covenant with Christ and the Most High, approaching a woman. I love it. I can never tell when Friendship is Gangster is being like ironic or not, though, because he be saying some off the wall shit, but I'll take it as just a funny joke. But really, man, I can't even. I'm not really a religious guy myself, but you know, he's probably actually correct, though. You probably better off just turning to Jesus Christ than dealing with a modern female, man. So this guy, he says on the Sickness video, the full mixtape, he rates all the songs. The Sickness, 9 out of 10. Flow State, 7.5 out of 10. Social Distance, 7 out of 10. Toonami, 7.5 out of 10. Not a Simp Son, 7 out of 10. Won't Go Out Today, 7.5 out of 10. Hideki, 7 out of 10. Opie, 8 out of 10. Keiko, 9 out of 10. My Own Way, 8 out of 10. I think he might be a little bit too generous, I would say. But, so going by his scoring, the standout songs are The Sickness, Opie, and Keiko. And I think those are good choices. I would throw Won't Go Out Today up there too, though. I would say, like, if I had to choose like my 5 favorite songs off that mixtape, it's The Sickness, Not a Simp Son, Won't Go Out Today, Opie, and Keiko. You know, everything else was solid, but those were the standout tracks, if you ask me. Thanks for that comment. T-Dot's Finest. So on Memes World Productions, he says, how much for a feature, Chad? And I said, free for you. I ain't charging right now. I ain't popular enough for that shit. So I'm just lazy, bro. That's really what it is. So you got to catch me in like a productive mode. But just fucking email me, man. You might inspire me to get off my ass. So Moonbase MGTOW says, bro, I got Tesla running shoes too, still kicking after 5 years. Mine fucked up after like a year though. I got but I run a lot. I don't know if you work out and run like I do, but I be rolling. I be running like couple times a day type shit. So maybe that's why. But I'm wearing my second pair right now. I want to buy a third, but they haven't had my size for a while. But I'm gonna go check it out again. I ain't checked in like a month or two, but I'm probably gonna just get another pair because they're really comfortable. They're comfortable. They look okay. Like they don't look like some Walmart cookies, and they wear good. They wear good for the price. So even though my first pair like got worn out after really less than a year, I would still like it's a nice. I would say it's a solid, at least from my experience, it's a solid, affordable, temporary shoe, right? Like if you just need something that's gonna last like about a year, if you're not as active as I am, it'll last longer. But for me, they're only gonna last about 7 or 8 months because I run so much. But for $30, which is what I paid, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So Ghostface says on the Recam beat, is this a beat for the Robot Music Volume 9003 mixtape? Sounds nice. Maybe would fit some happy verses or some bittersweet ones. I don't know. Moonbase MGTOW says, not to be a dream killer, but he usually hoards the beats he raps to until after the rap is published, so I don't think so. He noticed. I saw that he tends to do that, but we'll see. But you know, sometimes I don't. Like if you look at Clown World, for example, that beat was already on my channel and then I went ahead and used it. So just because I uploaded a beat don't mean that I'm not gonna use it. You know, it's just that the thing about it, the songs that I tend to make, it's like it's fast. It's like I'm passionate about it and it's happening and I ain't got time to upload the beat. I'm trying to make the song and then I'm gonna upload the beat. But sometimes I do go back and just pick up the beat and then go ahead and make the song. I think I did that for maybe a couple songs. But yeah, I don't do that a lot. And he noticed that. And that's cool as fuck. So, Mega Dunspar says, sorry, facts, Chad, but all your music sounds the same. And then Flim says, his music consistently has certain attributes, as is typical with most single genre artists. But no two beat songs really sound the same. Who's your favorite artist? Chances are the same can be said about them, especially if they make metal. It's a stylistic flair. Bro, record a freestyle over this. I might just do a whole song. Ah yes, SoundCloud artists. Clearly they have so much variety. But you know what? I would say Mega Dunspars definitely has a point. And see the thing about it, when I make beats most of the time with the thought of rapping over it. And so I think that's why a lot of times you don't see me do a lot of like mixing and dipping because my mentality, okay, this is the hook, this is the verse, And so I think that's why a lot of my beats tend to kind of have like a similar formula in terms of how there's like the song structure, because I always make, most of the time I make them with the thought process of, okay, I'm turning this into a Chad Marco song. Like if I'm making a trap beat, it's gonna sound like a Chad Marco trap beat. If I'm making like a lo-fi Filzy beat, it's gonna feel like a Chad Marco lo-fi Filzy beat, because that's the kind of song that I probably have in mind while making it. But you know, I appreciate comments like that, because certainly, because I've noticed that myself, and now I'm thinking like, okay, I need to diversify like my song structure and things like that, so that I'm not as predictable. But you know, it's just a part of my growth. I don't take, you know, I appreciate Flim defending me, but I take constructive criticism very well, because most of the time when you guys say shit like that, I already know it. And usually there's some truth to it. And definitely here, this is an area where I can work on. And so what I'm doing now, because you know, I listen to a lot of like anime video game music. And so I'm gonna start listening to like their song structure and like how they structure certain parts. Like I've been noticing certain things, like listening to like the Street Fighter 3 soundtrack and stuff, and like how they structure the overall song, like the different parts. And I've been thinking about how I can incorporate that kind of song structure into my beat making. And if I do that, that can give my songs more variety and give them more difference. But it's part of like just the growth I have to make as an artist. You know, it's like if you're a boxer, you might have a great jab, but you need to work on your left hook or your footwork or something like that. That's how I look at it. I don't mind. If you guys see any inconsistencies or anything you think I can improve, let me know. I love shit like that. And more than likely, I noticed it my damn self. But thanks for that comment, Mega Dun Spars. Even though you're a fucking troll in my stream, fucker. Trump 2020. No, Trump 2024. Fuck, man. Fucking up my stream. Okay, so this guy says, Pumpkin says on the Boyfriend Tricks episode of the Nightwalk vlog, great vid as usual. In the previous videos, you talked about your new job. Did you have to get trained to do anything specific? Or do you operate any type of machinery? Were you required to get the vaccine to work, since the Delta variant is spreading across America at the moment? No training. My training lasted 10 minutes. So again, I work at a medical center, just taking out trash. That's all I do. I go in and I just take out the trash. Like, you know how like in every room pretty much there's like a trash can, and I just push around a big trash can and dump all the little trash cans into the big trash cans, or all the trash from the little trash can into the big trash can. And if the bag is like dirty or something, then I gotta switch out the bag. If not, I can just dump everything and leave it there. And then when my bag gets full, I tie it up, put it on the side, and then and then I take it outside to the big dumpster and just rinse, repeat. And it takes me the job is like, it's supposed to be 3 hours, but we finish in 2. And I finish my job usually in like 1 hour. And then after I'm done, I just like check behind everybody to make sure like, oh yeah, I got employee of the month too. I got employee of the month alongside, well, actually I had to share it because there was somebody else who was really killing it. But me and this older guy, we got employee of the month, obviously, because we're men. We don't go there fucking gossiping and shit. We go there just to fucking work. But I'm doing a great job though. God damn it. And I actually really like the job, and because it doesn't take up all my time, and it's just a way to make some extra money. Like it's really perfect for me as an artist and as a slacker because I got time to slack, time to be creative, play video games, watch anime, eat, sleep, and all that shit, and just make more money on the side. So it's cool. But yeah, no type of machinery or nothing like that. I just push around a trash can, fill it up, throw it outside and shit. You know, I got to get a little sweaty sometimes because it's hot, but that's about it. And no, I did not have to get the vaccine to work there. But it's funny. There's a lady who works in the medical center, and she kind of stays late. Like we come after everybody else is gone pretty much. There's only like 3 or 4 people there when we show up. But there's a lady there. and she's there late because she's a grinder. She's that type of woman, older woman. And she's very, very nice. Whenever we run into each other, we have like a short conversation and whatnot. But she always asks, like, you gotta get the vaccine? And I'm like, no, I ain't got it yet, man. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, this bitch stay on my back about that damn vaccine. But it's not required, So I think she only asked because she's concerned about my health because she's a medical professional. She deals with sick people all the time. So she's just worried about everybody. What's this? Okay, so Super Linguin Logan says on the Manipulated Man video, all you do is talk about MGTOW, women, news, and other shit. That's actually kind of a variety of things. Surely there are more topics than this. Maybe next time you could cover tech topics like video games, artificial intelligence. You should look more into novel AI. It's really cool, AI. Just talk about anything other than women or MGTOW, LOL. He must have just got a girlfriend. No, I'm playing though. But you could look at my most popular video. What is my most popular video that has the most views? What is it called? Dead Field with No Girlfriend. You look at what got my channel. Its little bit of popularity that it does have is, the virgin rap, MGTOW rap, or you could say robot rap, right? And a lot of the subjects that I talk about can all be traced back to the culture on R9K. And on R9K, what tends to be the topic of conversation? Young men and their struggles with depression and our lack of success with women. A lot of the songs on my mixtape are about those very things. So you shouldn't be surprised when I talk about this stuff because, again, when you look at the very core of what people took an interest in my content for, it was the MGTOW version shit, right? And so I'm just saying you shouldn't be surprised when you see stuff like that. And you should expect stuff like that going into the future. Now, I'm not saying that every episode is going to be about, some talking about women and shit like that. But early on, definitely expect that because it's a lot of topics pertaining to women, and in particular the various dynamics of dating, being a virgin, going your own way, the war between the sexes right now that I feel a need to talk about. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about these things, especially now because that's the topic of conversation. Never before have we lived in an era where these things were talked about and out in the open so much. When you got people like Kevin Samuels pretty much blowing up into the mainstream because of that very same topic. Now, of course, we're obviously very fucking different, but I occupy my own niche within that world as a happy virgin man who went his own way sort of thing. But definitely going into the future, I'm going to do pretty much exactly what you said, because I've already kind of laid out the game plan for my channel and even the Botcast, right? Because look, there's only so much I can talk about when it comes to women. I don't want to be one of these guys that's like, okay, this is my 20th video telling you why you shouldn't get married. This is my 17th video talking about single mom. I don't want to do, I don't want that to be my channel. So naturally, as I progress, you're going to see me branch off into other topics. And even within the Botcast, if you pay attention, you will see that I've already touched on, like I've already kind of mixed it up. I had the episode about just talking about the release of the robot music mixtape, the SoundCloud episode. I had the episode talking about living with my crackhead stepdad. I had the episodes covering guys like Kent and Oreo Man. I had the episode with Seth. So obviously even there, I'm trying to mix it up because I don't want to be one note. But certainly early on, you should expect this because it's so much that I have to talk about pertaining to this particular subject. And then Tactical Athlete says, you must be new. He's not new. I've been watching since he started OCM Botcast. I'm just tired of him repeating topics over and over. As a content creator, he should branch out on topics for his podcast at least every now and then. But like I said, if you really pay attention, you would see that's exactly what I do. You look, again, if you look at, I got about 20 episodes of the Botcast, and almost half of them are about separate topics away from women for the most part, or at least focusing on, specific people like Kent and Oreo Man, which is more about them than about the woman, But then Moonbase MGTOW says, yeah, I did suggest something similar. Told him to call it the Blade Runner episode, but yeah, he is still in the bargaining phase, so he has to keep talking about women for now. And that is just blatantly false. I'm in the will probably die a virgin and doesn't give a fuck phase, but me getting to this point where I'm okay with being a virgin, where I'm pretty much going my own way and I'm enjoying life, it was a process. And a big part of that process for me was learning about female nature. It was doing the research. It was learning about these various dynamics of dating so that I had an understanding of what I could gain and what I could lose. So I learned so much during that time, and it's important for me to relate that to the people that follow me because, of course, obviously, other guys take an interest in that, especially being a guy in my unique position. I'm not some alpha male saying, okay, I got the big dick, I'm tall, I get bitches, this is what you should do. I'm a relatable guy who's going through the same shit as a lot of the other guys for R9K. And one of the main issues that guys are dealing with is, coming to terms with being a virgin, having not a lot of success with women, if any at all. And so I'm stepping up to say, hey, maybe you don't have to do that. Maybe you can, still be happy without these things. And a part of that is understanding exactly what you're missing out on and understanding the specific dynamics that's going on in a relationship between a man and a woman, and having those understandings so that, you can realize, okay, well, it's not everything that I thought it was, or I don't want to deal with this shit. It's too much bullshit, and I see so many times guys commenting or talking about in the Discord, like, yeah, man, I totally get that. I understand that. And so definitely right now, yes, I'm going to be talking about MGTOW shit. I'm going to be talking about, the various aspects of the different traps that go along with dealing with women, female nature, because talking about that shit is important, and that's really, again, that's one of the main topics of discussion on R9K, what the Botcast is based on, what the robot music mixtape is based on. So, I understand wanting to hear a greater variety of things. And again, I've already mapped it out. I already know that in the future, I'm going to have to, and I want to go in other directions. But for right now, expect a lot of MGTOW with women. And really, when I talk about women, it's more so about you. It's more so about our relation to them and how we should deal with it. All this shit goes back to us. It's not about the girl so much as you saying, okay, I'm okay without that, and what that takes, what self-love means, what it means to just appreciate life as a single man. And I think really that's the true value of the message that I'm trying to give. Self-love and understanding that you don't need a woman or a relationship or sex to enjoy life. And to me, that's an important message to spread. And so I have to talk about these things. I have to talk about women. I have to talk about single motherhood. I have to talk about why the truth of approaching women. I have to discuss these things because these are the things that a lot of the guys that are following me and know me are going through or have some understanding of. So I appreciate those comments. But for right now, it's gonna be about MGTOW women. Again, I will, throw in different topics here and there, but I gotta touch these. I gotta get all this shit. I gotta get all this shit off my chest. Goddamn, I ain't even hit single motherhood yet. Goddamn, I can't sleep till I get that one. But thanks for those comments. Woo, goddamn. Hold up, which one is next? Okay, so 360 No Scope Johnson says, really, you're just a part-time NEET now. Yeah. Also, some pro tips. Don't fall into the trap of financing a car. Just buy a cheap 5K, 10K car maximum. Invest as much as you can in SP 500 index funds, crypto education. Compound interest is king. Look into it. Yeah, I'm not financing the goddamn car. I already know. Like me and my mom already talked about it. Like we're going for a cheap cash car as my starter car. My sister, she got a car for $800 and it needed a little work. Like okay, she bought it for $800. It probably needed about $500 of work, so it ended up coming up at about $1,500. But that motherfucker rolling. Boy, if I can get that, something close to it, I'm good. So I ain't even thinking about financing a car for what? Car payment for what, man? You get you a cash car as long as that shit gets you where you need to go and it's dependable. That's all you need. I'm not trying to impress nobody. I don't know if you guys know that Cat Williams skit when he was talking about the weed being too strong. He was like, I want regular weed. Like me, I want a regular car. I want car. Like I don't want a Honda. I don't want a Nissan. I don't want a Lamborghini. I want car. CAR. Like I go to can I get car, please? That's what I want. But thanks for that comment. No Scope Johnson. And those were the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. What did I say the next was gonna be about? The next episode is going to be a complete TOD episode. We're gonna it's gonna be maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5. Just threads from 4chan, might be R9K, might be from some other boards, but we're just gonna have some fun with 4chan on the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'm gonna get out of here, and I gotta edit this whole fucking thing. That's the real bitch, but I do it for you guys. So you guys keep enjoying life, keep your heads up, and wait, is it John? It's not John. I'm about to make the same thing. Johnny. I'm about to say Jonna again. Jonna.